Good evening, I'm Justin Lee Collins. It's Tuesday and you're watching Fan TV, the only show football fans are talking about. We're live on Sky 212, Facebook Live and YouTube. It was a bruising weekend for some big reputations in the Premier League. Jose humiliated at the Bridge. Hell hath no fury, like an ex-Chelsea manager scorned. Poor old Jose not happy with Antonio Conte for whipping up the Chelsea fans in that 4-0 hammering. Come on, Mourinho, if you can't take it, then maybe you shouldn't dish it out. Pep Guardiola, who could do no wrong at the start of the season, now can't buy a win for love or money as City are winless in 5 games following their timid 1-1 draw against Southampton. North London giants Arsenal and Spurs both fired blanks against Borough and Bournemouth respectively. Liverpool looking increasingly like they're the real deal under Jurgen Klopp with another victory. Shaqiri, once again proving that the hips do not lie with a spectacular brace for Stoke, while poor old Sunderland are still the only team in all 4 divisions who've yet to win a league match. Meanwhile, here at Fan TV last week was another blistering 5 days of football banter. Toby was joined by Krabby and Goyle of Harry Potter fame, who are incidentally huge West Ham fans. Crystal Palace sweetheart, the lovely Lucy, kept us all well fed with a delicious Fan TV cake. And the irrepressible Kenny Ken could not keep his emotions in check as he mercilessly taunted a Borough fan while simultaneously talking to us on Skype. In fact, rather than me blabber on, why don't we take a look at last week's highlights? What? I've got Rich Astley on the sofa. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. It's not. It's Rich and Astley. I love it. Let's hear it. Whenever you need somebody. You had to lube your gooch in order for them to see that electronic scoreboard.
Yep, lubed it right up, and it was good to go. And
okay.
I'll do whatever it takes.
That deserves another round of applause. Come on.
Hit them for 3 and 4 or 5 tonight. We've got to make a big statement tonight.
Any team news?
It's only Lucasade, isn't it? Lucasade.
I think it's pronounced Ludogorets, but I won't judge you on that.
Oh well, it's.
Do you reckon either of you could pull them off?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, like wear them, not like take them off a woman. By the way, I should
Just straight down the camera. Win. my answer's still the same. Definitely. Yeah, all day.
Oh, and you've come bearing gifts as well, Lucy. You're too good to us. Oh, come on, explain. Who made this?
My friend Sam Watson.
Sam Watson. Hello, Sam Watson. Hello, Sam. I mean, this is gonna be so tragic. I don't know where to show this. Right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, there's the fan. Oh, that's as low as I'm going. This is going somewhere horribly.
You've done well.
But thank you so much. I think I've done all right there. I'm going to put this down here.
Oh, that is delicious. That is delicious. Lucy, we're on. Lucy, we're on. Lucy, we're on. Oh my God, by the way, that's delicious.
As time goes on, that team's going to become better, and they're still possibly the best team, and they're still my favourites to win the league.
Sorry, while you're talking there, then okay. Here we go. What's this dance called, Sam?
It's called beating Ludogorets 6-0 again. The score, right?
I like it. This could catch on. Actually.
Look how big our heads are. Look at that. And a couple of plums for you there. Look at that. If you... I love you, people. I love you so
You lost Patreon as well.
To see Harry.
There you go.
He'll always be there. There
you go.
In my
heart and your nightmares, he'll always be there.
He took his eye off the ball and look what happened, eh? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? 1-0 to Arsenal already.
And it will stay that way for 10 years. How boring. If not, then we're just going to put 3, 4, 5.
What was that? What on earth was that?
Goal.
We got a goal. We got a goal. It's the first time I've seen it. Absolutely no idea. I thought we were coming under attack. It's unbelievable.
I think a lot of educated Arsenal, or customers, I would say fans, but let's just say customers.
Look, just because Fenton calls us customers doesn't mean we're customers, right? I know you want him to stay, and I know you admire him and wish he managed you, but we're fans. We're fans. We're not customers.
You're a football fan. Fair play to you, mate. One of the best Arsenal customers out there. Now...
It's been a tough week for City, really, isn't it? I mean, Pep was a little bit like the dad who's left his wife for another woman, really, in the week, and then seen her in the shopping centre and realised that she still looks quite good.
There we go. Oh, there we go. We managed to get it behind us. There we go. Sorry, Jan, we just cut you off. Yes, you've graced Kim Jong-un's seat from taking seconds away from filming the new Harry Potter film, apparently, I've been told by it. Here we go. Here we go.
I just had some skinny guy. Hey, get yourself here. Borough fans just going, Borough. You'll be down next season playing Championship football's your level, son.
And Kenny gets arrested. See you later, my love.
See you, mate.
That was last week. This week is going to be equally as exciting. Here's what's coming up tonight on Fan TV. Chelsea and West Ham resume hostilities in the EFL Cup tomorrow night. So we'll be hearing from Blues fan Gary Hayes and Hammers fan Russell Hall. He's back with us on who will win this capital clash. Football Manager obsessives, do not go anywhere. We've got a real treat for you tonight. We're joined by experts George Osborne, no, not that one, and Alex Stewart. They'll be sharing their tips on how to be the very best manager in Cyberworld. Bournemouth fan Ollie joins me on the lime green sofa, reflecting on the Cherries' excellent start to the season. We'll contrast his emotions with that of United fan Sahil, who no doubt will be smarting from his side's utter humiliation at the Bridge. And Spurs fan Mark Alley will be hoping his side can get the better of high-flying Liverpool in tonight's EFL Cup clash at Anfield. But without further ado, let's bring on our first guests. It's Chelsea fan Gary Hayes and West Ham fan Russell Hall. He's back. Come on, boys. Gary and Russell. Gary, I'm meeting you for the first time. Lovely to meet you, brother. Welcome to the sofa. Russ, welcome back, brother. How you doing, you lovely man?
I'm good.
Listen, Russell, I've got to start by saying I don't fancy your chances in the Cup tomorrow night based on Chelsea's performance against Manchester United at the weekend.
Don't disagree.
You don't disagree?
Not at all.
They're on fire, aren't they? They were phenomenal against Manchester United, Chelsea.
They certainly are. I mean, I was saying to the guys earlier, hopefully they play a few reserves. Even that looks a bit ominous, so to speak. But 90 minutes, two teams, under the floodlights at the new stadium. We still get thrashed.
Well, finally, you're on a bit of a roll. You've won the last two games, 6 points, of course, which is brilliant, but you have to put it into perspective. I mean, it could be argued that the wins came at the expense of lowly opposition, scraping wins, a 90-minute goal.
Yeah, I mean, Palace weren't sort of like you call them lowly, but Sunderland were there to. We looked two nervy sides on Saturday.
Yeah.
We looked like the old Mark 1 Cortina. You know, we wanted to get going. 2 minutes, pushing up the road. Started spluttering, then we failed again. Payet hit the post. But yeah, we looking at the game, the way we're setting up, I'm not used to, which is the three at the back.
Yeah.
With Fernandes on the left and Antonio on the right. And I quite liked it, you know, especially where teams only play one at the front. It gives us more time to bomb on. A bit like what, you know, Spurs would tell you, Mark would tell you what Spurs do.
It's the on-trend formation at the moment, isn't it? It's a bit like Kale, three at the back.
Yeah.
Everyone's banging on about three at the back.
I mean, I'm a fan of the way Spurs line up, and I didn't think it would work at West Ham, but it did, you know, which, you know, I'm pleased with. It's a bit scary when you're fetched up on 4-4-2.
Yeah, sure.
But now looking at the three at the back, I'm looking at Reed, you know, Ogbonna, you know, being isolated. But Fernandes, come on, you like stats, 95%, you know.
Phenomenal. In fact, I've got the stats.
You've got the
phenomenal stats. So he comes on. Now, was it his first full game?
It was his first full game, yeah.
Now, how about this for a stat, if I can find it? Because, you know, you're quite right, I do love a stat. His pass completion rate was something like 96%.
Yeah.
He made or completed 43 of 45 passes. That's phenomenal stats.
It is. It's right up there with the top players.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say about that, though, how many of them were forward passes and actually passes that actually meant something, because you're playing against a side that isn't really known for pressing up top like that, so you can make it easier for.
Well, that's why most of these passes were forward. I mean, perhaps against a bigger side, so to speak, they might not be so forward, but I was well pleased with them.
I'll just quickly jump in, Russ, sorry, because we've got to launch this first Twitter poll of the evening. Here's the question: what was the Premier League goal of the weekend? We're looking for your goal of the weekend. Fuchs, hashtag LCFC. Shakir is first, hashtag SCFC. Kante, hashtag CFC. Or Reed, hashtag WHUFC. At FanTV UK is our Twitter feed. It's our first poll of the evening. There will be 3. Go on at FanTV UK, register your vote. Very quickly before the break, Russ, the show's flying by already. How good was that goal by Reed?
I only saw on the replay. To be honest with you, I was going down to Mark's uncle's pub back in the East End to have a drink, and I left. So I never normally leave. I left a couple of minutes before the.
One of those fans.
And to be honest with you, I heard the crowd cheer, and because I'm at the away end, I didn't know if it was the away, goal. But I've seen it again. It looked a touch of offside, but Slaven, the earpiece, said it was good, so it's good for me.
Well, a win's a win.
A win's a win.
Now 2 on the bounce. You've got 6 points, so a corner turn. That's the right way around. 4 billets at West Ham. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Gary, our Chelsea fan, and our West Ham fan, Russ, in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Sky 212 as Fan TV. Good times. Sorry, chaps. Tell me more about that 49-point plan. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, please don't forget to refresh at the top of every hour. We don't want to lose you. If you want to get in touch, we've launched our first Twitter poll of the evening. We're looking for your vote on the goal of the weekend. At Fan TV UK is the Twitter. If you don't have Twitter but you want to get involved in what we're talking about tonight, or perhaps you would like to start a new football-related topic, then join in at Fan TV is the email, and the Skype, of course, is Fan TV channel. Now, as fans of this show will know by now, I'm a dirty klepto. Honestly, if it's not nailed down, I'll have it. It's right, isn't it, Sean? I'll have it. Once again, I've nicked a wash bag belonging to a famous celebrity footballer. Let's find out what our first clue is tonight from the wash bag. I'll give you a series of clues throughout the show, and hopefully from the clues I pull from the bag, you'll be able to ascertain whose wash bag I've tea-leafed. Honestly, I can't help myself. I've got a problem. I'm a filthy, dirty thief. Clue number one. Should we go for the watch? Clue number one. We have got a very nice... Now, the owner of this watch will never see it again. Hashtag dirty klepto. Sorry, Sean. I'm selling it. I'm taking it to Burlington Arcade, where I'll get nothing because it's a knockoff. So it's a Boss watch belonging to our very own Sean. A Boss watch. It could be any watch, I suppose, could it? Or does it have to be a Boss? So, okay, it has to be Hugo Boss, so that's the clue. Gary, without revealing or without saying a name, based on a Hugo Boss knockoff copied watch, who do you think the wash bag belongs to? Don't say, but have you got an idea?
It's a player, right?
It's a player.
Oh, okay. I thought the boss was giving it away, but...
Okay, no, it's not a manager, it's a player. Any ideas?
No, not really. I thought if it was a manager, it'd be Jose because of the boss, and it's a knockoff.
Okay. Oh, nice, very nice. Russ, don't say anything.
I've got an idea.
Russell's got an idea. I love it. He's also got a 52-point plan, and we'll hear more about.
It goes up. Don't worry.
We'll hear more about Russell's 57-point plan later on in the show. But now, though, it's time for our regular 5 things we learned from football this week, courtesy of Snack Media. It's our football fan cast. Have a look at this.
Welcome to Football Fancast, ladies and gents, and 5 things we learned from the weekend just past, starting in traditional fashion with thing number 1. The special one has become the specialist in failure. Before Sunday, Jose Mourinho had faced former employees 10 times in league games and not lost a single one. That record went out the window after 30 seconds against Chelsea when his Manchester United side parked the bus, but left enough windows open for 4 goals to sail through. Daley Blind had an absolute shocker. Paul Pogba didn't create a single chance, and the tactics were further off the mark than Zlatan's shooting. Wouldn't you just love to see that WhatsApp group conversation between Eva Pinheiro, Bastian Schweinsteiger and Arsene Wenger right now? Thing number 2, bad defending was contagious across Manchester as City gifted Southampton a point through an awful John Stones back pass. Instead of banning Wi-Fi and pizza, maybe Pep Guardiola needs to ban passes across your own 18-yard box. Isn't everyone told not to do that by the time they're 10 years old? And if you're keeping score, by the way, Stones has now cost £12.5 million per error he's committed that's led to a goal. World class, that lad. Thing number 3, Arsene Wenger turned 67 on Saturday, and all his team got for him was a 0-0 draw against Middlesbrough. The Gunners are still at least a month away from their annual crisis, so it was strange to see them create so few clear-cut chances. Sadly, a large proportion of Arsenal fans won't get to see their team fail to win the league again this season, as the club is reportedly proposing a policy of banning season ticket holders if they fail to turn up to matches. Wow. Thing number 4, Hull would bloody love it if season ticket holders turned up for their matches. Just 18,000 people were at Hull's KCOM Stadium to see the Tigers get a 2-0 beatdown from fellow terrible team Stoke, marking their lowest ever Premier League attendance. Even more embarrassing was the club's decision to encourage the fans to chant by putting lyrics on the advertising hoardings. I'm sure that wasn't necessary though. The fans managed to sing "We Want Alam Out" perfectly well without the words. And finally, we go to Spain for thing number 5. Barcelona climbed to the top of La Liga after a dramatic 3-2 win at Valencia. Lionel Messi bagged his 8th goal of the season with a last-minute penalty, making it 6 goals in 3 matches, proving that neither injuries nor his midlife crisis hair can hold him back. Andre Iniesta left the field with a bad knee injury, but the real concern was for Neymar and Luis Suarez, who were tragically hit with plastic bottles while celebrating Messi's penalty. Of course, the strikers rolled around on the floor in absolute agony. How else would you react after being struck by light plastic bottles thrown from a relatively short distance? We just hope they're not injured and out for too long. Hashtag pray for Suarez and Neymar. All right, that's it. Give your thoughts at Football Fancast on Twitter. Thanks so much for watching. Love to your mothers. See you next time.
Big thanks again to our friends at Snack Media for our Football Fancast. That will be back again next week. Russell, yes. I heard a broomer. Broomer! 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 West Ham, now Gary, in case you didn't know, it's a breaking rumour. We like to call them Broomers. I think you probably did know that already.
Yeah,
You've been on the show before. First Broomer of the night. If you've got any Broomers, get in touch. Tweet your Broomer, hashtag Broomer, to @FanTVUK or email your Broomer, join in at fantv.me. Here's the Broomer, Russell, is West Ham related. West Ham interviewing other managers for the managerial post to replace Bilic should he be fired. Now, I think this was before your last 2 wins on the bounce. What are your thoughts on that?
Probably, yeah.
Already talking to other people?
Yeah, I think there was a rumour about that.
Who do you think they might be talking to?
Who knows? What about bringing Big Sam back?
Seriously?
Why not?
Is that serious? You would take Allardyce?
Listen, I didn't find anything. I mean, people disagree with his type of football, but you know, we're not Arabs, we're Liddles, ain't we? Let's be fair about it. You know, we've got to bring people in and work with what you got.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't even think off the top of my head who I would bring in.
But you take Allardyce.
I know a lot of people would say the old, you know, pin your TV back up onto the ceiling because that's where the ball's going to end up. But,
yeah.
You know, what was it, 10th, 9th, 8th? He had us, you know, in the Premier League.
What?
On a shoestring and a pint of wine.
Shoestring and a pint of wine. If you're a Hammers fan and you'd like to see Allardyce back at your club, if you've got any information on this Broomer, that they're already interviewing for the next manager to replace Bilic at West Ham, then get involved. Tweet at FanTVUK, join in at fantv.me. Would you take Allardyce back at West Ham? Your Liddles, not Harrods, not my words. West Ham fan Russell's words. What are your thoughts on that? We've got our first Skype call of the night. It's our Arsenal fan, Sam. Sam, are you there, baby?
Oh yeah, baby, you know I'm here.
Sam, we love you, brother. How you doing?
Love you too, we love you too. Remember Friday, I'll be making my first appearance on the lime green sofa. I am excited for that.
Sam will be on this lime green for the first time on Friday with Toby. You're going to be fantastic, Sam. Listen, Sam, you've got a report on tonight's game. Arsenal Reading, of course, in the EFL Cup. What's the latest news?
Well, we got Martinez starting in goal.
Okay.
Which doesn't surprise me at all. Jenkinson is going to start at right back. And we've got Holding and Gabriel playing together. I'll be interested in how that works out. Okay. Gibbs will be captain as like he was in the Nottingham Forest game. El Neni starts, and we've given a start to Maitland-Niles, who also impressed in the Nottingham Forest game. Oxlade-Chamberlain starts, Ren Adelaide, Iwobi, and Perez starts up front.
What about Giroud, Sam? Is Giroud playing tonight?
Giroud's on the bench tonight.
Giroud's on the bench. Yeah. Many significant changes from the weekend's game.
I think starting Perez up front, yeah, because personally I wanted to see Giroud start up front. I mean, over Saturday's game, I've seen the game, I've seen some of the highlights as well, and the game was screaming for Giroud to come on the way that we was playing. You know, it wasn't fitting Alexis as much. What are your thoughts on the draw of the weekend, Sam? The draw of the weekend? Yeah. Well, I thought it was average. You know, it's a game we should easily win, but you know, we didn't win. You know, the players didn't turn up. It was Wenger's birthday. The players didn't turn up on that day. Sam, can you turn your levels down on your Skype a little bit? Because I think we're getting some echo or some distortion there. So give us a prediction for tonight's game then, buddy. 4-1 Arsenal. 4-1 Arsenal, that's some prediction. 4-1. If you're a Reading fan, let's get your side of it. Get in touch. You can Skype call us. Fan TV channel is the Skype to call. Sam, you were right with your prediction last time, of course. You've got a history of getting it right on Fan TV. Yep, the 6-0 ludicrous. I just knew it was going to be 6-0. I just knew it. Listen, Sam, we've got Gary, our Chelsea fan. We've got Russell, our West Ham fan, on the lime green sofa tonight. Looking at the league table, early days, but it's very, very tight at the top. It could be anybody's at the moment, couldn't it? Yeah, it could be anybody's. I mean, the way that, you know, the Chelsea fan were celebrating on Sunday, the way they beat United, I mean, you know, the Chelsea fans on the sofa, you know, he was, I bet he was overly, you know, excited by the fact they beat Mourinho's team 4-0, you know. It was, you know, it could be anybody's. Like, you know, it could be, you never know, City could come back into it, Tottenham could even win it, you know. Absolutely. No guarantees. Let's get, because we've got Gary here as well, let's get your thoughts on Chelsea's sensational 4-0 demolition of Manchester United. What do you think? Are Chelsea now the team to beat? Yeah, Chelsea are the team to beat. I mean, personally, even though I'm an Arsenal fan, I hate Mourinho. So when Chelsea were winning 4-0, I was really happy, watching that. The way that, United just got ripped into by Chelsea, it was just amazing to watch.
Okay, Sam, Skype us in later on, brother, and give us an Arsenal Reading update. Could you do that?
Yeah, I could do that. I can do that. Yeah.
And could we see the dance one more time? We'd love to see you move.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Quality. That's what I'm talking about. I love you, brother. I'll speak to you later.
Speak to you later.
Cheers, Sam. Gary, Mourinho looked absolutely shell-shocked after that demolition at the weekend.
Yeah, he did. And I think it was good for Chelsea, but it was a little bit... I don't know, I didn't like seeing it because just seeing the way the press are hounding him.
Yeah.
And, I work as a journalist, so I'm part of that. But I just think that, spoiler alert, I was watching Narcos last night, right?
Okay.
And you get to the end where Pablo Escobar dies.
Oh, what?
No, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I just thought, I was watching, I was like, God, it feels like Jose, because there's this big character that, you've invested so much in, and then you just see him that, and he was on the touchline just completely helpless.
Yeah.
And like you saw Escobar like running across some roofs and everything else, and he's like by himself, this one like big powerful billionaire, and he's you see him just like obviously having a crash back down to earth. And I just saw Jose and he just looked lost.
Yeah.
He just stood there and he was bereft of ideas, and he just didn't quite look the Jose that everyone thought he was. And
he look clueless, didn't he? Looked
I think, and the last year especially, he's like stripped him back and made him look a bit more human. And I think maybe taking on the United job's been a bit too early for him. He should have gone and had a bit of a sabbatical. And
you think so?
Yeah, I think so, because you look at what he's doing with United as well. They're playing the same system that Chelsea failed with last year. It's dated. It's this 4-2-3-1. Teams can play in between the lines on it. They haven't got the energy to be, they haven't got the right type of players to play that. They didn't really have any wingers, and Rashford was starting out on the right. He had to get moved to the left.
I'll jump in there, mate, because we've got a break coming up. Sorry, we'll pick up on this. Is Mourinho the Pablo Escobar of the Premier League? We'll be back in 2. Good times, it's Fan TV. Thank you. Nice one, brother. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212. If you're watching on the Facebook Live or the YouTube, hopefully you've refreshed. We don't want to lose you. We're live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. I've got Russell, our West Ham fan, on the line green. I've got Gary, our Chelsea fan. They've got a big game in the EFL Cup tomorrow night. Tonight, it's Arsenal versus Reading. We've got, of course, massive game, Liverpool versus Spurs. If you want to tweet us at FanTV UK, get involved, join in. fantv.me is the email, or Skype call us like lovely Sam did just before the break there. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Mourinho is the Pablo Escobar of the Premier League. I love that. Gary's words, not mine. And according to Hammers fan Russell, West Ham are Aldi, not Harrods. Brilliant.
Little.
Come on, I love it so much. We've got to speak about that 74-point plan as well later on in the show tonight. But for the first time, it's my favourite feature. For the first time this evening, I'll have a foul, please. Yes, throughout the evening, I will reveal the vowels from the name of a famous footballer involved in a fouling incident / gate. For the first time this evening, I'll have my first vowel, please. Take a look at the screen there, boys, and it's a single solitary A from the first name of tonight's mystery footballer. I've only given you an A, Russ. Any ideas?
Is there a letter before that?
There is a letter before that, yeah. A is the second letter.
Well, that's the only A, is it?
Only A in the name.
Barry?
No, I know it's not. It's not Barry. Gary, any ideas? Don't say it, but any ideas?
Oh, sorry.
From the single Barry? From the single solitary A?
From an A?
Yeah,
no,
it's difficult. It's difficult. It will get progressively easier, but based on that single A, if you think you know which footballer we're looking for, then tweet at FanTVUK, #foul please, or join in at fantv.me. Okay, EFL Cup tomorrow night. I've asked Russell already at the top of the show. Gary, do you think West Ham will trouble you in any way, shape or form at the Olympic Park tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think they will. I think those two, the two victories they've had just recently, obviously just putting a bit more confidence back in that side. But
scraped it though.
They scraped it, but they got the wins. And I think looking at what West Ham did to Chelsea last season, they beat them 2-1, I think it was, at Upton Park.
Yeah.
And then they got a good draw at Stamford Bridge 2-2. I think it's a big loss not having Andy Carroll. So I think they're maybe a little bit lightweight in attack in terms of having that that striker. But I think they're a good team. They've got some good players, and maybe they're having a bit of a hangover from what they achieved last season. And key players like Payet didn't really have a full pre-season, so they're gradually coming into it.
Yeah.
And I think Bilic is a good enough manager, but I think at the same time Chelsea would have probably too much for him. But I don't think it's easy. It's just Chelsea are going to walk in and win the game.
Good enough manager, you say, Bilic, but the rumour is that West Ham are already interviewing other managers. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, but I don't really buy into it. We had the rumour recently that when the bookies stopped taking bets on Conte getting the sack, and I think it's just all hearsay. I think you look for stuff that might seem like it's relevant because West Ham are struggling, therefore chairman's going to get trigger happy. I think that you see what he's done in the last two games. Yeah, they might have scraped those wins, but they've got them, and I think that says a lot about his management and what he's getting out of the players.
Do you think John Terry will play for you tomorrow night?
I think he might. I think Conte was saying today in his press conference that he's ready to play after his ankle injury, but I'd have struggled to see how he will if they stick with that the system they're playing with the three at the back, because he just doesn't suit that. So if they bring Terry in, they're going to change the system, which I think is a bad thing.
He's not going to change that system, though, surely, because I mean, it's
he shouldn't. He's got a lot of momentum, and they're playing some of the well, I know it's only been 3 games, but they're gradually getting better at playing that system. Players understand what's required of them, and I also think John Terry suits it. So if John Terry plays, then I don't think they'll play 3 at the back at least.
John Terry is your footballing idol, is he not? You've written a book on him.
Yeah, no, well, he is, but I think in terms of the last 20 years, he's been the standout defender for England. I think you can talk about who's the greatest England defender, but I think it's easier to break it down to generations. And of his generation, he's been the lead player at the back at least.
So you've written what's the book called?
John Terry, 50 defining fixtures. So it's just talking about his career and how he's sat inside what Chelsea have done in the last 10, 15 years.
So as a big Terry fan, you've written a book on John Terry. Is it difficult for you to say that the current Chelsea side is better for not having John Terry involved?
It's a fact. You look at. I think it was good for Conte in that he came in. He's tried to keep a system that's similar to the players he's had.
Yeah.
And then went a bit belly up against Liverpool and Arsenal, where they were just completely outplayed by better teams.
Sure.
And Terry got injured just ahead of that as well, and he's been given an opportunity to change it, and he's changed it, and they look a lot better for it. And I think also it helps because then you've got, you had Azpilicueta playing at left back, and he's a right back, and by John Terry and Ivanovic as well not being on the scene because he's been injured as well, that it's allowed him to move it around a little bit, experiment, and he's getting the best out of players in their positions now. Where you've got Alonso on the left actually playing as a left wing back in the position he should be in, and you've got Moses on the other side. There's more balance to it.
And you're not conceding. That's the other thing.
Yeah, 3 games. You know, in all of September, they conceded 7 goals, I think it was, and.
The Arsenal game was the last time you conceded a goal.
Yeah, so then 3 games since then, they've scored 9, conceded none. So it's looking positive. But you know, obviously they played Hull in that run, but then they played the Leicester, the champions. They played Manchester United, and both of those games they've completely outplayed them.
Right, everyone talking about what I call the lost in translation moment. You remember the film with Bill Murray whispering at the end in Scarlett Johansson's ear? And if you remember when that film came out years ago, what did Bill Murray say to Scarlett Johansson? What did he whisper in his ear? What do you think, #Whispergate, what do you think Mourinho whispered into Conte's ear?
He was just saying good luck for the rest of the season.
It clearly wasn't that, Russ, was it? Did you see it, Whispergate?
I did see it, yeah.
What do you make of it? So Mourinho, his nose was put out of joint, we're led to believe, because he didn't take too kindly to Conte geeing up the fans when they were 4-0 up. Disrespectful? Humiliating?
No. I watched the game, and all Conte was really doing was trying to drum up the Chelsea fans standing behind him, and you know, he wasn't having the right pop at. I don't think he was having the pop at Jose.
What happened is that
so Man United were very vocal.
Yeah.
And Chelsea were 4-0 up and pretty silent. And I think all he wanted to do, and in the end, everybody started clapping, which I don't think he was.
But what happened? It's a little bit frustrating because it was a really good atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea fans were really good throughout. It was just that. When they went 4-0 up, it was almost like they were just expecting the game to end. You know, they were just seeing it out, and then United were singing this song where they were clapping for for a little while. And I think Conte was, because it was happening right in front of me, and he was there like, come on. You could hear him say to the fans.
Yeah.
And he was doing it to the wrong stand anyway, because his stand's always quiet, but because it's all the families and everything else. But, so he was trying to cheer him up, and he started pointing at the players, because I think the point, and he made it in the press conference after, the point he was saying is that the fans have been through this downward spiral with the players as much as the players, as the players have gone through it as well. And it was a case of, look, they've turned up now. They're actually doing it again. So, give them a round of applause, because you're getting outsung by Man United at the moment with 4-0 down. I think it was just more a case of that. Like, United are out singing you here. Now get behind the players, like you've been telling them to perform, and they're doing it for you now. So. It's a bit of recognition for him, which I think is fair.
Well, Mourinho allegedly said, this was reported, I think, in Sport Italia.
Sky Italia it was.
Sky Italia. Was it like a lip reader, I think, managed to look at Mourinho's...
And because obviously Jose speaks Italian, I think they were speaking Italian to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
But according to the Italian media, the translation was Mourinho said something along the lines of, you do that if you're 1-0 up, not 4-0 up. So do you think he is justified?
No, it's not. It's not justified, because this is the manager that, I'm not saying this is because a Chelsea fan is not there anymore. It's a criticism I've had of him in the past, is that, you don't want to humiliate a manager. Well, what are you doing running down a touchline when Porto scored a winning goal in the last minute against Manchester United?
Fair point.
What are you doing when PSG, Demba Ba scores the last minute winner against PSG in 2013-14? You're running down a touchline, jumping on the players and celebrating. That's more humiliating to Laurent Blanc and Sir Alex Ferguson than it is getting some fans to cheer, to get behind their team. So it's a contradiction, but that's what Jose's about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Blues fans allegedly, if they did sing "You're Not Special Anymore."
Yeah, it's a strange one, that, because I didn't hear it where I was sat, but there was a journalist from ESPN Brazil who was based right near the Matthew Harden stand. He said it was just a small pocket of fans.
Right.
But then it was strange because it was all built up as the return on Sky, and they build it as some sort of action movie, and then it turned out that no one really cared Mourinho was there. It was more about Matthew Harding, who was the Chelsea vice chairman that died 20 years previous in a helicopter crash. So the day was more about him, and then it was more ironic cheers of Jose when it was 4-0 and they were singing you're getting sacked in the morning, and then as a joke, and then started singing his name, but it sort of just died out, and it was more of a case of the fans weren't really too bothered about it.
Fabregas hardly played. Very strong rumours that Fabregas will be exiting the club come January. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, it's a difficult one, because he's been such an influential player for Chelsea, and I think everyone forgets what he did in the 14-15 season, where he came in and completely transformed that team, got the record number of assists in the Premier League season that year. But what Conte's trying to do doesn't really suit his style of play. So, as crazy as it sounds, that he's become surplus at Chelsea.
And Hazard, of course, fired in the third goal. Yeah. How special do you think it was for him to score that goal against the Mourinho Manchester United when he was singled out for so much criticism by his former manager?
But as well, that criticism was justified. And I think what Conte's done is that he's moved him to play more centrally, so he's not looking over his shoulder anymore. He's doing what he needs to in the final third. Yeah. Whereas what frustrated Jose was that Hazard was never tracking back and he was letting players get in behind, and that's where problems were for Chelsea last year. But that's just not his game. So I can understand him being frustrated with it, but I think there's a lot made of his relationship with Jose, which isn't quite as bad as people make out. I think he was just happy to be scoring because now he's scored 4 goals this season, which is equal to what he got in the whole year last year. So
Russ, this is flying tonight. I've got time running out. I've got to ask you about the Ballon d'Or because Payet, of course, has been nominated, one of 8 Premier League players. Do you think he deserves his place on the Ballon d'Or shortly?
Well, he won't win it, obviously. Yeah. But he didn't play a full season last season, but he scored more goals and more assists. Yeah. Than was it Ozil and what was the other one I saw?
He's one of 8 players nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and for club and country this season, 47 games, 15 goals, 19 assists. Gary, are you surprised by the Ballon d'Or list of players, and are you surprised that Payet is on it?
Who cares? It's one of those things. It's just I don't really pay much attention to. I think it's just a pointless award, really. That I don't think there's a lot made of it, and I think it's just a whole load of nothing, really. It's just a pointless award that doesn't really carry any merit.
OK, pointless award doesn't carry any merit. Russ, do you agree with that? Does it not carry any merit, the Ballon d'Or?
I don't suppose it does, really, but if you win it, it's all great, isn't it? If it's your player. I mean, he won't win it, but if he did, then it'd be great. It's any trophy that any player wins is a good trophy in my eyes.
Listen, we've got another break coming up very shortly, but just to tease it up, off the back of the break, we're going to talk about some of the somewhat bizarre security measures that have been put in place for the game tomorrow night. It's a weird one. We're going to talk about that, but just there's police are going to be in for the first time. We've got 10 seconds, Russ, but that's a good thing, surely.
I did say that last time we said. Yeah. It's no good waiting for it to kick off. You know,
to arrest your bad form, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do if you like. It might look after your boys, but...
All right, we'll jump in there. I love this. Don't go anywhere because the lime green sofa is hotting up. We're live on Sky 212, back into good times. Thanks, mate. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. If you're on Facebook Live or YouTube, hopefully you've refreshed, which you have to do at the top of every hour. We don't want to lose you. Skype, call us, please. Fan TV channel. Join in at fantv.me is the email, or the Twitter is at FanTVUK. I'm a dirty klepto. I've done it again. I've stolen a wash bag. Whose wash bag have I stolen? Clue 1 was a knocked off Hugo Boss watch, which is worth absolutely nothing. But the clue is a Hugo Boss watch. Another clue coming up shortly. And of course, get involved with I'll have a foul, please. One vowel so far, it's an A. Before we move on, we've got lovely Gary, our Chelsea fan, and Russell, our West Ham fan, on the lime green sofa. And I should say, lovely Lauren, Russell's daughter, is 30 tomorrow. So round of applause for Lauren. Happy birthday, Lauren, for tomorrow. Have a lovely birthday. Have you got a message for your daughter, Russ, camera one?
I love you, babe. It's been 30 years, but I still love you.
If we're doing
Keep me skin.
Can I do a birthday one?
Of course you can, yeah.
So it's my friend Liam Waugh's birthday tomorrow as well. And so, Liam, it's been noted, it's your birthday.
OK, that's lovely. Let's hear it from Liam as well. Very quickly on the Payet issue, because of course, as we all know, one of 8 Premier League players to be nominated for the Balloon d'Or. I'll keep saying that as well. Collymore, Stan, says Payet is overrated and not living up to expectations. Is that fair from the Collymore, Gary?
Maybe this season, but I think last season he delivered, you know, what you expected of him. And yeah, he's maybe disappointed this year, but I think he's gradually getting back. And who was that against when he scored that amazing solo goal the other week? Middlesbrough, wasn't it, to equalise? Oh, yeah, you know, that's the type of player he is. And I think for West Ham, he's about at his level.
No, not at all. We'd be lucky to keep hold of him.
OK, we've got line-up news. Let's have a look at the Liverpool line-up for the game against Tottenham tonight in the Cup. Have a look at this. Here's the Liverpool line-up. Right, you know what I'm like with names. Mignolet, Alexander-Arnold, Clavan, Lucas, Moreno, Stewart, Ejaria, Wijnaldum, Grujic, Origi, and Sturridge. On the bench, got Karius, Klein, Lovren, Can, Lallana, Mane, and Ings. What do you think of that Liverpool line-up, Gary?
Be interested to see the Spurs one, because you're expecting a lot of changes from Pochettino tonight as well. So, yeah, they obviously got a good strike partnership there of Origi and Sturridge. Wijnaldum's a good player. Let's have a look at the Spurs lineup as well. We've got that. Here's the Spurs lineup for all you Spurs fans tonight. Vorm, Trippier, Carter-Vickers, Wimmer, Davies, Dyer captain, Winks, Anoma, Carroll, Nkudu, and thank you very much, and Janssen. Come on. Thank you very much indeed. That's the Spurs lineup. So clearly a very weakened team for Tottenham tonight, Gary. Yeah, but I think that's what you expect in the EFL Cup when teams are in the Champions League. It's a different story for Chelsea and West Ham tomorrow, because it's a trophy they can win, but Spurs have got bigger fish to fry than a League Cup. OK, so for Liverpool, it's a trophy they can win, but Tottenham have bigger fish to fry. Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to the stadium issue. Tomorrow night, of course, the game, you're rolling your eyes already, Russ. I know you've got a 73-point plan to try and turn things around at West Ham. More on that 76-point plan later on in the show, because I really want to get in that 81-point plan. Yep. Thank you. Russ, police are in for the first time. That was one of your 85 points. It was. To turn things around. Now, it's somewhat bizarre as well. Now, if I can find this, because your fans are going to be segregated and allowed to leave the stadium, away fans, 30 minutes before the West Ham fans. It's a bizarre thing to do. They tried it, or you tried it, Russ, against Middlesbrough, and there was still trouble. So what do you make of that?
So what did I say last time? All you've got to do is just keep the Chelsea fans 10 minutes after the game and let the police do their job and get rid of all the West Ham fans. And let them leave. I mean, why are you leaving fans? Let fans go 30 minutes early. They're not going to be, well, I don't know. I mean, they could be getting beat, but why would you want to exit? You want to see the whole match.
It should be the other way. They should let you leave 30 minutes early.
We have been. Doing it. We have been. Don't worry about it.
You personally, you like leaving a game early.
I only done it twice in my life.
Tell us that story you were telling us during the break about leaving a match early.
Yeah, I was about 9, 10 years old, living in Stepney, got the bus, and it was a night game against Stoke, and West Ham was 3-0 up. Yeah. And obviously you're thinking it's done and dusted. and I left early to get on the bus. And George Eastham, people won't remember George Eastham, but he was a great player of his day. Ended up scoring that trick, and we got beat 4-3. And I swore at that point I'll never leave again. And I was over West Ham this Saturday with Longy and Mo, and I said I've got to leave early because I've got to meet the boss at London Bridge. And here we go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So I did watch Reeds go. Mind you, from where I was sitting, I would need a pair of binoculars to see Reeds go anyway, because it was up the other end.
Before we've got Johnny Vance on the Skype. Before we go to Johnny, our Spurs legendary Fan TV fan, this is the official word on the cordon that's going to be in place at the game tomorrow. Cordon will be in place on either side of turnstile D. That's the away turnstile. Some West Ham supporters will be held back for 30 minutes to allow Chelsea supporters to leave post-match tomorrow evening. So just to be clear, because I think I got that slightly wrong. So some West Ham supporters will be held back for half an hour. So you'll be held back, Russ, to allow Chelsea supporters to leave post-match. A cordon will be in place either side of the away turnstile.
I know where that is, because I'm in E, and the away fans are in D. So there is a back way as you come out of the stadium to go down to Pudding Mill Lane, which is where some of the trouble is going on. So I can see I wouldn't be able to come out of E and turn right towards D to go down Pudding Mill Lane. I wouldn't be able to do that unless I left early, which I'm not going to do.
Somebody said online now, and this is the thing, because they tried it with the Middlesbrough game, and of course, as we all know, there was trouble. But they were talking about the fact that what happened last time is that the fans were directed a different route around the stadium, and it actually took you straight into the path of the Middlesbrough fans, and that's where a lot of the trouble lied.
Well, obviously, Chelsea fans are becoming for all different. Middlesbrough, all the away fans come in coaches anyway. Yeah. Like Sunderland on Saturday. So Middlesbrough all come on coaches. You can see all the coaches parked up. Yeah. Obviously, it won't be like that for Chelsea fans. They'll be coming from the DLR, from the Jubilee line and main line anyway. So to direct them away, as I said, my idea would have been just to keep the fans, the away fans, 10 minutes and then let the police get rid of all the home fans. You're taking robust steps to avoid crowd trouble against Chelsea. Supporters will face body searches, right? Every cloud, you know what I mean? Yeah. Alcohol restrictions and post-match segregation. Let's pause it there for a minute because we've got our Tottenham fan, the one and only Johnny Vance, on the Skype. Johnny, are you there, baby? Yeah. Let's hear it for Vancey. Johnny, I love you. It's Liverpool v Spurs tonight. We've got West Ham, Russell, and we've got Chelsea, Gary, on the sofa. We've just looked at the lineups, John, and Gary said, you've got much bigger fish to fry. You don't really care about the EFL Cup. It'll be Liverpool that's going out to win it tonight. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I've always said, and I've said on the show a couple of times, I'm a big fan of the English Cups. I do love them, and I won't say a word against them. However, we do have bigger fish to fry nowadays in the modern game. If you're in the Champions League and nearer the top end of the Premier League, you've got to focus your efforts on that. It'll be great. I think it's quite useful in a sense, and I hate to say like, oh, we'll just roll the kids out, but guys like Eric Dyer. Just coming back from injury, he hasn't looked particularly fresh. It's good for him to get some minutes under his belt. We've got fellas like Cameron Carter-Vickers, the new lad in Kudu, John Onoma as well. They're actually really good players, but our starting line up and maybe 3 or 4 subs, they're looking so strong. It's hard for them guys to get in the side at the moment. We're starting to look a bit like, whilst I hate to say this, but the Arsenal team of kind of 10 years ago that put their kids out in the cups, and the kids will come out and you think, well, these lads will probably finish top half as well. So, I don't want to talk down about the cups, but we are putting a younger side out with 10 changes, but I think it's really strong. I was worrying about it, but I'm looking at the lineups thinking, actually, guys like Winks, Carroll, Wimmer, Carter-Vickers, they're all quality players. Vorm is a brilliant goalkeeper.
Lots of changes tonight. Onoma, of course, as well. Joshua Onoma. Listen, John, the last time Spurs were at Anfield, Kane scored in the 1-1 draw. One of the games of last season, everybody said. Do you think you can go one better tonight?
Yeah, why not? I looked at their lineup and it's not particularly special. I think they should have gone stronger, certainly across the middle. They've got Sturridge and Origi. I think Sturridge has been misfiring. His body language, I don't think he's particularly confident at the moment, so they're looking to give him some minutes. I honestly thought they would have gone a lot stronger, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Just like the fellas on the sofa said. I would have expected a really strong lineup for them. And I wasn't especially looking forward to it. It tends to always be a really good game when we go to Anfield. I think we're due a good result there.
Let me ask you about the Bournemouth game as well, because I've got to get your take on this, because somebody was saying online today when I was doing my research, were there really, or are there really any positives at Tottenham at the moment based on the performance against Bournemouth? You've now dropped out of the top four, you rode your luck against Bournemouth, and two big money summer signings have been disappointing so far. So do you think it's as bad as that? Is it difficult to take any positives at the moment?
Yeah, I think you have to take positives from every single game, and they're always positive to draw. Yeah, the reality is you're always going to have games where you go away to Premier League teams, and there are virtually no easy games away in the Premier League, with the exception of West Ham.
We've had a goal, John. John, we've had a goal. Liverpool are 1-0 up. Courtesy of Sturridge, Daniel Sturridge.
That'll teach you.
Sturridge is misfiring.
That'll teach you to come early.
Instant karma, Vancy. Instant karma.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, fair dues. I'll take the blame.
Why are you watching it?
Yeah, are you watching it? Are you actually watching it, Vancy?
Because I'm looking at you three on my iPad. Get off my iPad.
Daniel Sturridge has just scored. It's 1-0.
Nice hood. Nice cooker hood.
Russell is admiring your cooker hoods. John, I don't think it's a euphemism, but it could be.
Who did your tiles?
They came with the house, mate. I can't claim credit for them.
Johnny Vance, listen, Poch said this on Marcus Edwards really quickly. If Marcus Edwards was South American, everybody would be saying he's one of the world's top prospects. I've asked you about him before. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think he's a class little player. I really do. I want to see more of him, but it's difficult, as I said, to get, when do you play him? We're so strong in terms of attacking midfielders that when do you give him game time? It's not as though we're turning up every week and rolling teams over 3 or 4-0, like you said. So we're going through a little bit of a patch at the moment. We're still getting points, but it's difficult to get him on the pitch. And I thoroughly agree with him. I think he is absolute mustard. If he was Brazilian, I think a lot of teams would be gunning for him. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing more
John,
minutes.
we've got a break coming up. We've got to jump in. Please Skype us back in later on with another score update. In 5 seconds, Gary, because we've got to say goodbye. We've got another break. Match prediction, scoreline prediction for tomorrow.
2-1 Chelsea.
Russ, really quick.
4-0.
Brilliant.
You knew that anyway.
Happy birthday, Lauren. Russell, Gary, thank you so much. Give a big hand, everybody. We'll be back in 2. Fan TV. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 every night, Tuesday through Saturday, 7 till 10, 4 till 7 on Saturdays. If you want to get involved with any of the chat or any of the comments that have been made on our lime green sofa so far tonight, then tweet us at FanTV UK, email us, join in at fantv.me, or Skype call us like the legendary Johnny Vance just did before the break on Fan TV channel. That's the Skype. Register your interest if you want to be on this sofa as well. Let's get the results of our first poll tonight. Let's have a look on the screen, a reminder of the question, plus how you voted. Let's see poll 1. Goals of the weekend, or goal of the weekend rather. 14% of you went with Fuchs, LCFC. 40% went Shaqiri with his small and humble breasts. Hashtag SCFC. 29% went Kante and 17% went Reed with his 90th minute winner for West Ham United, giving them their second win on the bounce. 40% Shaqiri. Let's launch our second Twitter poll of the evening. Here's the question. Have a look at this. Which of these is more likely to leave? Hashtag MUFC before the end of the season. Which of these players is the most likely to leave Manchester United before the end of the season? It's a great one, this. Mourinho, Rooney, Mkhitaryan, or Smalling? And everyone says Smalling in particular had a shocker at the weekend, of course, against Chelsea in that 4-0 drubbing. Mourinho, Rooney, Mkhitaryan, or Smalling? Mourinho allegedly missed the game because of an injury sustained in training. Not sure about that. Is that right? What are your thoughts on that? Get in touch at FanTV UK is the Twitter. Join in at fantv.me is the email if you don't have the Twitter. Shall we bring our next fans onto the lime green sofa? Please welcome, for the first time on the show, George and Alex from Football Manager. Come on, George. Come on, Alex. George, lovely to meet you. Lovely to meet you, George. Alex, pleasure to meet you. Now, I did say from Football Manager. That's probably not quite right. You're not involved directly with the game, are you, or are you?
No, I'm not. I actually host a podcast about it once a week called the Deep Line Podcast, and I'm also a games journalist, so I write about games for a living.
Brilliant. OK, now, I want to listen to your podcast. How do I find it? Where do I get it?
So you can get it on SoundCloud, on Acast, and on iTunes. It's called Deep Line Podcast. Every Thursday comes out. We go record it. Then you can get hold of it whenever you fancy.
Every Thursday. Give me the title one more time.
Deep Lying Podcast.
Deep Lying?
Deep Lying.
Deep Lying
Apologies, yeah.
Podcast. Every Thursday. And it's on Acast. It's on iTunes, is it?
And it's on SoundCloud as well. So you can get it wherever you fancy it, I guess.
OK, perfect. Now, the last time I was hooked on Football Manager, it was on my PS1. It was back in, it would have been 95, 96. And I'd start playing at 10 o'clock in the evening. And very often I would play until the sun came up the following morning. It's very easy for me to get hooked on this thing. Let's talk about the new Football Manager. It'll be Football Manager 17. Is out on the 4th of November. How excited are you, and how will it be different to the Football Managers of old?
Well, it's actually pretty similar to the old Football Managers in a sense, because they've been evolving the game now for like 2 decades. And it's sort of, now it's kind of reaching this point where it's like this really big popular culture thing where everyone plays it who's a football fan. You've got millions of people around the world who are up for it. And what it's doing at the moment is it's just getting deeper, more involved, so you can really throw yourself into the role of being a manager.
When did you get hooked on it, Alex? How old were you, and what was the first Football Manager game? What year when you were really captivated?
96, 97 for me.
Well, sort of kind of the same as me.
Yeah, very
PS1?
similar. So, no, I was playing on an old laptop.
OK.
14, 15 years old at school. And, my exam results suffered.
Already, talking to you, I'm immediately chilled out. How chilled is Alex? It's not even on the shout crack. I'm not even kidding. Are you in a K-hole?
I'm not going to comment now.
OK, nice. So, how chilled is Alex? This is beautiful. So for 20 years at least then, you've been hooked on Football Manager?
I had a kind of hiatus, but I've got back into it recently. I suppose probably about 3 years ago I started writing about it, blogging and doing a couple of series for websites like The Set Pieces.
Nice use of hiatus there, say no more, cheeky. OK.
And the BBC Sports website on transfer deadline day started doing this comparing players with their football manager equivalents and seeing what they might be like.
Okay.
And I did that and got a lot of stick for it on Twitter.
Now, this is serious for a lot of people. We were talking about this earlier, so I don't know if you guys have done this yourselves, but you will get Football Manager fans who will dress up, put on a suit for FA Cup final day, for example. Have you done that, Alex?
No.
Would you consider doing it?
I wouldn't consider doing that. What I have done is bought shirts for teams that I'm managing, because I think you can't help but get kind of invested in how that team is doing, and if you've been managing them for 2 or 3 years, 4 years, sometimes for a whole sequence that I'm writing about, I actually care how that team is doing, and I start to look at how they're doing in real life, and you kind of become a fan of that side.
Yeah. Well, hang on a minute. That means it's a goal. Lovely. Newcastle United 1, Preston 0. Mitrovic has scored for Newcastle United in that derby there in the 90th minute. Was it 90th minute? 19th, I'm so sorry. 19th minute. Newcastle United are beating Preston 1-0, and also Norwich are also 1-0 up as well. Sorry to jump in there. 1-0 up against Leeds, that is.
That's
George.
my team. Leeds.
Leeds.
There we go, I've just found out.
Norwich are losing.
We're just a goal down already.
Yeah, sorry.
It's standard. It's Leeds. I'm used to it by now. The horrors of supporting that team.
So would you rather be playing Football Manager than watching your side Leeds at the moment?
Well, it's a difficult one, because actually, I mean, that goal aside, we've actually been all right recently. Like, at the beginning of the season, I was really excited because Gary Monk was coming in, and within 2 minutes of the first game of the season, Rob Green had dropped a cross into his net, and we lost 3-0 away at QPR. So I was like, ready to write this season off. But actually, in our last 7 or 8 games, we've been going up the table, got really solid centre-backs. We seem to be nicking the odd win here and there.
Gary Monk, good job so far?
Yeah, good job so far. I'm really impressed with actually how he's managed to keep his job. That's, pretty good at Leeds, considering, our chairman likes to boot managers out the window at the first opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does he? So do you manage Leeds on Championship Manager?
You see,
Football Manager, I'm sorry?
I did it last year for a little bit, and it went okay. I looked at them this year and didn't really fancy it, so I'm in charge of Inter Milan at the moment, which is...
Okay, nice. Big time Charlie.
Yeah, it's a big time Charlie. It's a difficult job, though. My players, they're revolting in many senses.
And what's with the Icardi situation? Are you going to try and offload him?
I've got rid of him.
You've got rid of Icardi already?
Yeah, chucked him out. It's just like he came up to me and said, boss, I want to leave if someone makes a bid for me. And I said, 35 million. And he said, all right, I'll do that. And so Spurs came in, bought him, and I've replaced him since then. So you've just got to make the big deals, Justin. You've just got to take your chance.
Sorry, George, who did you sell Icardi to?
So I sold him to Spurs. So
okay, Icardi to Spurs in the world of Football Manager. I've got an Icardi Broomer actually, and Russell is still here, our West Ham fan. He's on the subs bench. He hasn't left. You're going to like this one, Russ, or maybe not. Broomer, 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 Broomer. I've asked for Broomer, and I've got Pampered Pooches. Not for the first time. Not for the first time. I tell you what, every time you don't want a Pampered Pooch, one comes along, and it's your right. Where was that Pampered Pooch last night? Anyway. Russ, okay, Icardi, here's the Broomer. West Ham have joined the list of potential clubs who are chasing Icardi come January. It looks like Bilic is prepared to offer 25 million for Icardi. Russ, you're not mic'd, but what do you think of that?
Who is he?
Who is he? Says Ross. That's what he thinks of that. Well, it's a very good question, actually, because I think it's genuine. George, you've sold him on Football Manager. For the benefit of Russell and for anyone else who doesn't know, who is Icardi and why have you sold him?
So he's a young Argentinian centre-forward who plays for Inter Milan. I sold him because he was being a bit of a pain and I could get a decent amount of money for him. Inter Milan might sell him in real life because he really is being a pain and has written some bad things in his latest book, which have led him to falling out with the Inter Milan ultras, who are like the super fans.
That's right.
And so they're probably going to get rid of him, probably for his own safety. That's
they're very vocal about their intense dislike of Icardi.
They are.
So it looks like come January he's going to have to go.
Almost certainly, yes.
So for West Ham, Bilic to 25 million. He's a good player, of course. Do you think that would be a sound investment for West Ham?
I think it would be a good signing. I'm just not that sure he would go to West Ham. I think he might well end up there. The Premier League money means that they could potentially buy him, but I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a bigger team come in for him.
So, thank you. Very well summed up there, George. Thank you. Alex, so George is managing Inter on Football Manager. Who are you managing?
I'm managing a 3rd division French side called UC Concarneau.
You're such a hipster. Such a hipster.
I can only apologise for that.
What are they called again, sorry?
US Concarneau. It's a little town in Normandy.
Okay.
Beautiful fishing village.
Yeah.
They were promoted to the Championnat, the 3rd league in French football for the first time in their history in real life.
Yeah.
And a French friend of mine suggested that I try them out. So
okay.
I have.
And how are you doing?
We're 2nd in the table currently, which is actually how they're doing in real life as well.
Now, how about that? So it's interesting that I'm asking you how you're doing when the game hasn't actually been released yet, rather. So how is it that you're able to start playing before the game has officially been released, George?
Well, I'm going to be reviewing it for The Guardian next week, because I reviewed it for The Guardian last year, and that means that, to be able to get a review out in time for the launch of the game, they have to give it to us a little bit early so that we can play enough of it so we can go, here's what we think about it. So that's how I got it early. I don't know about you, Alex.
There are beta versions, or a beta version is made available through Steam, partly because it's such a fan-driven game that usability and feedback is really welcomed by Sports Interactive, the company that make it. So they put the product out there so people can get in touch and say, this, we're not sure about this, or maybe that needs tweaking.
Alex, I'm going to follow up on this question after the break. We've got another break coming up in 20 seconds. But just very briefly, is it true they've introduced a Brexit rule into Football Manager?
They have Brexit scenarios, yeah.
They have Brexit scenarios. So it's almost like real life. Don't go anywhere. We'll pick up on that on the Lime Green after this break. If you're on Fan TV or YouTube, don't forget to refresh. Back into Fan TV. Thanks, guys. We'll take a quick break. Relatively intelligent. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. I've got George and Alex representing Football Manager 17. I'm genuinely excited about this. I can't wait to start playing it. It's released on the 4th of November. They're with me on the lime green sofa, but it's time to welcome back on the Skype another friend of Fan TV. It's time for Chris Darwin's Tales from the Top Flight.
Tales from the Top Flight.
That's quality, Chris. You've got to love that. Do you see it?
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it, Justin? I mean, the efforts you guys have gone to make me feel at home.
Chris, honestly, the man hours that went into that, unbelievable.
I can only imagine.
We've got someone signed off with stress already just from helping to put that together. Chris, I just want to say this. I'm with George and Alex, representing Football Manager 17 on the lime green sofa. And we were just all discussing our mutual love for you. You're a genius, sir.
That's very kind of them to say that, and the money will be in the post. Unfortunately, it'll be in pounds, not euros.
OK, Chris, let's talk Chelsea United. What are your thoughts on that 4-0 hammering by Chelsea?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you might bring that game up, to be honest with you. It was very, very benevolent of Jose to take the heat off Pep this weekend by trumping City's performance by putting in that kind of performance for United. I mean, it's kind of the sort of performance you see from a Jose team about 24 months after they've won the league. He's fallen out with everyone and he's blamed the doctor for screwing it all up, really. So a little bit early for Jose there.
And what do you make of, I'm calling it the lost in translation moment, the hashtag whisper, Chris. Everyone wondering what Jose whispered into Conte's ear. We now think we know, courtesy of the Italian press, that he said something along the lines of, you do what you did at 1-0 up, not 4-0 up. Do you think it was deflection on Mourinho's part, or does he have a genuine grievance for Conte geeing up the fans when they were so clearly ahead?
No, I think he had a genuine question for Antonio, basically saying, well, a statement for Antonio, saying, I don't really know why everyone's getting on Pogba's back. I mean, to play 89 million quid for a player and expect him to do well twice in a week, that's asking a lot.
Yeah. What do you think, actually, let's just mention the balloon door. What do you think of Pogba making the list of 8 Premier League players?
Again, it's a popularity contest, isn't it? If you command a big transfer fee, you're going to be on that list. I agree with your West Ham fan earlier. It means absolutely nothing in the real world.
Was the game a humiliation for Jose, do you think, Chris?
Was the game a humiliation for Jose?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, going back to your old neck of the woods and getting your pants pulled down and losing 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, people were talking about how we parked the bus up at Anfield. It must have got clamped up there because, I mean, to copy and paste your tactics in from the previous game and then to concede within 30 seconds, it looked like the defence had never even spoken to each other, let alone played together. So, no, it was, yeah, I think it's fair to say it was a humiliation for Jose.
He looked completely clueless, Chris. He just, at the end of the game, he just didn't seem to know what to do, which is troubling for a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, but then he is that confident in his way to set up a team not to concede. It must have genuinely been one hell of a shock for him to be sort of taken apart like that. But then he's got quite a few Chelsea players there that might still want to put one over their former boss. So I can't imagine Conte had to use too much of his fiery temper to build the game up in the changing room before the game.
Chris, what I don't get, though, is that if you look at the Manchester United side that played Liverpool and, they got the draw and everyone said it was a negative game and the Manchester United fans weren't happy because it's a style of football that they're not, they don't like to play. It's not what they're known for. And yet they managed to grind out that draw. And then with Chelsea, total capitulation. What happened between the two games?
I don't know, but I mean, Liverpool got to have a look at themselves, really, haven't they? Their fans were chirping up after the game, saying how bad United have been and how negative they've been. Well, let's be honest, Chelsea have really sort of struggled a little bit themselves this year, and they've stuck 4 past United. If Liverpool are genuinely going to be taken as title contenders, they might have to look back at that performance and wonder genuinely if it was 2 points dropped.
Yeah. 2 points dropped. What an amazing thing to say. But I suppose if you're a Liverpool fan, you have to consider that.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's been missed out, the biggest missed opportunity of the whole United-Chelsea game, though, was the lack of Roy Keane being a pundit on the day. Could you possibly imagine Roy Keane on live television watching that game and just having an opinion on it? It would have been the first time Sky would have been taken off air for foul and abusive language. I mean, he would have absolutely lost it on live TV. Giggs made quite a good point. Yes, Giggs did make quite a good point about the shirt swapping and smiling at the end of the game, but you can just imagine Roy Keane seeing that. It would have been comedy.
He would have had a couple of prawn sandwich style comments to make there, I'm sure.
Just 1 or 2.
Zlatan just didn't seem to be fussed at all at the end, in particular.
I mean, Zlatan's had 2 games where he's had to basically stand up front on his Todd, watch a team struggle and wonder if he's going to get the ball. And then when he gets the ball, it's been so long since he's last had it, he's forgotten what to do with it. So, I mean, Zlatan, everyone was talking about the saviour being at United and everything. And I think we are genuinely seeing a once great player who's still got a lot to offer in many ways on the decline in his career. And let's be honest, United are creating a bit of a stable of them at the moment. So
Absolutely. Sting, we've had a goal, and Arsenal, who are playing Reading tonight in the EFL, Chris, have scored courtesy of the Ox. The Ox has put Arsenal 1-0 up. I'll ask you about Arsenal Reading shortly, Chris. But just going back to Chelsea United, Conte's 3 at the back system is really working out. They haven't conceded since they played Arsenal now.
No, they've done very well. I mean, Conte, let's be honest, the guy's a class manager. You don't do what you did with Juventus when they were rubbish when he took over and be a bad manager. I mean, the guy is going to turn Chelsea into a good side, providing they keep faith with him and don't buy into the rumours that were in the press a few weeks ago that they're going to sack him. I mean, credit to the guy. He's made David Luiz look very good in the last few games. So he's clearly working on a system that suits them. Victor Moses is in the side and actually starting to live up to that potential that he showed about a decade ago.
Just on David Lewis, Chris, he clearly should have gone for that studs up challenge, surely.
Don't listen to Jose. Don't buy into Jose's narrative of what went on in the game. Let's just enjoy the fact that Chelsea spanked them 4-0 and Jose looked like a plum.
OK, And on that note, we'll move on to Manchester City, Southampton. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, this crisis at City, I mean, it's a bit like a billionaire being down to his last 50 million quid, really, isn't it? It's not much of a crisis. So they haven't won in 5 games, but they're still top of the table. The main worry for me, though, is that City are in slight danger of actually proving McManaman and Hoddle right about their tactics at the start of the season. In the Sunderland game, it looked like Hoddle and McManaman had never watched a game of football in their lives, especially a Pep game, when they're commentating on the Sunderland game. But I have to admit, and especially with Alex being a Southampton fan on the sofa tonight, I openly admit, and always openly admit, I actually know nothing about this game because I said Claude Puel was going to be the first guy to go this year. And to be fair, he's kind of turned it around a little bit, so credit to him.
Here's a stat for you, Chris. You know how much I love my stats. So the last time Pep went 5 games without a win, which is, of course, their current record, he won the treble with Barcelona.
I mean, that could almost be a reminder that the season is a season long and not literally ended by the end of October. It's no great shakes at this stage at all. The biggest thing Pep's got to worry about at the moment is that Yaya, he's got an even bigger sulk on at the moment because the 5-year-old fan popped into the training ground the other day and gave Gundogan a birthday cake. I mean, if there's one thing that's going to wind up Toure, is somebody else getting a birthday cake in the City changing room.
Chris, we don't normally talk Broomers, you and I, but here's one from Jack, our Arsenal fan. He tweeted this into @FanTV earlier on about Toure, it's been rumoured, moving to Arsenal in January. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, he's an absolutely stereotypical Arsenal with. He's over the age 30. Absolutely nailed on Arsene Wenger signing that.
And Chris, have you got some Watford news for us today as well?
Yeah, Watford, that's popped up in the news today. Good old Telegraph. It's almost as if they don't like football and they're trying to take it down one little sort of brick at a time, really. I'm sure all of us have been a little bit creative when we're filling in those loan application forms and might have sort of like over-egged how much we really, really earn. But it turns out that allegedly, and just for the lawyers, allegedly, the Pozzo family might have faked a bank letter suggesting they had the money in the first place to be able to buy Watford back in 2014. Now, to be fair, though, it's not as if they run the club particularly badly, so there's probably every chance that the FA are now going to pick on these guys and hound them out, but we'll keep letting the Chinese investors come in each week without checking them at all. That'll be fine.
And finally, Chris, let's talk about Arsenal Reading in the EFL Cup. Arsenal have scored courtesy of the Ox. They're winning 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal will be delighted if they go through. They'll probably get all the way to the semi-final with their reserve team, and then he'll stick out the first-team boys in the hope of winning a trophy and get beat. At the moment, Arsenal, like the guys earlier were saying, most of these teams have got bigger priorities at this stage. Chelsea and Liverpool would probably like to go quite far in the League Cup, but the other guys, they don't really care at the moment.
Okay, Chris, I want to bring in George and Alex, our Football Manager 17 experts, because I understand you've got a competition for us tonight where you can win a code for the new Football Manager game, which is released on November the 4th.
Yes, indeed. So with Football Manager 17 coming out on November the 4th and the beta being available to people at the moment, we're running a competition today so people can win it. Now, you've got to answer this question, and Justin will tell you how you can enter in a moment. But the question is, in which year was the original Football Manager released? In which year was the first ever Football Manager released?
It's a great question. If you get it right, you can win a code and you will get Football Manager 17. Chris, we love you, baby. Thank you so much.
No worries. Good to see the guys on the sofa as well.
Absolutely. I'll speak to you next week, brother, for some more Tales from the Top Flight.
Cheers, Justin. Take care.
Take care, Chris. It's here for Chris. Font of all knowledge. Unbelievable. We will announce the competition to win a code for the new Football Manager, and of course you can get in touch. Join in at fantv.me is the Twitter, and at fantvuk. It's the email. At fantvuk is the Twitter if you want to win the code for the Football Manager 17. We've only got a minute before the break, George, but very briefly, what type of manager are you? And do you give youth a chance?
Oh, I like to be a nice, calm manager who's saying, you know, it's okay, we're going to be all right. It's a season-long competition. Let's just stay calm. Don't get too upset about defeats. Don't get too over the top about wins.
Okay.
And just make sure that you bring through those youngsters when you have a chance.
30 seconds, Alex, before the break. Which type of manager are you?
Very similar, actually. Yeah, it's all about youth. Me.
You're so chilled out.
Well,
you're never going to kick a football boot at, at a player's head.
It's not really my style, no.
It's just not your style.
No.
You're like a horse whisperer. Honestly, you're unbelievable.
Am I taking this as a compliment?
Take it as a massive compliment.
Okay,
Honestly, I have a problem with anxiety. I used to be on 75 milligrams of venlafaxine. It's an antidepressant. If I had you in my life, I could have ditched the drugs. On that note... Honestly, Alex, just talking to you, my scalp psoriasis is 30% better. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. I've got the most chilled out individual I've ever met on the lime green sofa tonight. It's Alex representing Football Manager 17, released on the 4th of November, with the lovely George. Let's hear it for them, everybody. Now, fans of Fan TV will know that I'm a dirty klepto. Yes, I'm a thief. We've got a young lad called Ollie in the studio tonight as well. And, you know, don't go stealing, Ollie, OK? It will lead you to ruin and prison, and you'll meet some undesirable people. So just heed my words. Ollie will be on later on in the show if I've not scared him off already. Clue 1 tonight was Sean's Hugo Boss watch. Hugo Boss watch is a knockoff. It's cheap and nasty. Sean's got a green wrist. So we'll just bung it after. Obviously, it's useless. It is the worst imitation Hugo Boss I have ever... Who gave you that watch, Sean? Who gave you that watch? My mum. I'm sorry. It's a lovely gift from Sean's mum, although clearly she's buying knockoffs, so what's going on there? The second clue from the wash bag tonight is a glove, a pair of gloves. We've got a pair of, they appear to be ski gloves, so I think ski gloves could be the specific clue. Ski gloves. George, Alex, without giving me a name, do you think you know, based on a knocked off Hugo Boss watch and a pair of ski gloves, whose wash bag I've tea-leaved?
No.
OK, Alex.
Not even slightly.
OK, I've got devastating news. It's our nemesis, Hull 1, Bristol City 0. Unbelievable. What is it with us in Hull? Hull have just scored against Bristol City. My side are currently losing 1-0, and Leeds have equalised against Norwich. Yes. Get in, says George. If you want to get involved with the Celebrity Wash Bag, then tweet at FanTVUK, #washbag, or email us your answer. Join in at fantv.me. Skype, call us. FanTV channel is the Skype. Let me go back and ask you this, George. What's the craziest thing you've done on Football Manager?
Well, I mean, that's a big question.
I know.
You know, I mean, Football Manager and crazy things, it's just like those two things go together hand in hand, you know. But, I mean, I think there was one time where I tried playing with 5 strikers and 5 attacking midfielders just to see what happened. Lost 13-0. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not a great idea.
OK.
It's not really very balanced, you know, not having any defenders. I'm surprised that it went so badly. But, yeah, that's one of the crazier things that I've done.
Well, I've got a story for you, actually, because Sean, who I keep mentioning tonight, I love you, Sean, you know, with the green wrist. Sean, our researcher, actually broke a plant pot whilst playing Football Manager. Yeah, and I spoke to him about it earlier. I said, Sean, why did you break the plant pot? And this is a direct quote from Sean. He said, the plant pot was dogging me up. Just ridiculous. So it does, people get into it, they get addicted to it, Alex, seriously, don't they?
Yeah. If you start, I've done some quite long series. In fact, with your team, Bristol City, I won the Champions League after 9 years.
You won the Champions League with Bristol City?
I certainly did, yes.
I love Football Manager.
And Luke Freeman was still on the periphery of that squad. You'll be delighted to hear.
Was he? Oh, my goodness me. I can actually announce plans to unveil a statue of Alex Stewart in Bristol City.
I've tried tagging them into tweets that I've done about that, and I've met with a wall of silence. Absolutely depressing. Yeah.
That depressed you, the most chilled out man?
Well, you know, some things do get to me eventually.
OK, well, let me have a word with Bristol City, because the fact that you've won the Champions League with my team, I think deserves a statue of you in Cabot Circus shopping area. I think it would be wonderful. OK, now, by playing this game, you can see what the world will be like after Brexit. Is that true, George?
Well, sort of. I mean, you know, you're not going to see everything's on fire like it will be, but controversy there. Nice. Exactly. But what you will get is that after a set period of time, the game will randomly start Brexit.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you'll either have sort of soft Brexit where nothing really changes. You'll have like an in-between situation where, you know, you have to deal with some more rules, but it's not too bad. And then you've got that hard Brexit where like Scotland leaves and you can't sign any players from the EU without getting work permits, and all of your players have to go back and get work permits again. So
it would seem when it comes to Brexit, Football Manager's got more of a plan than the government at the moment.
Oh, almost certainly. I mean, considering the government seems to just be making it up as they go along, just sort of, let's just scribble something on the back of an envelope and hope it works, you know.
Alex, have you ever missed an important event or been late for something very important due to playing Football Manager?
I was very nearly late for first year exam at university.
OK.
Because I was playing Football Manager, yes. And that was a 9 a.m. exam.
What was the exam?
I I mean, some sort of English literature
Well,
thing. I don't know. No,
Yeah.
but I'd been playing all through the night, and that kind of indicates I didn't take my university terribly seriously, doesn't it? But yeah, so I think it happens. You get kind of caught up in it, and before you realise, you know, a large period of time has gone past, and you don't have any friends anymore.
What is it that makes it so addictive, though? What do you think it is about the gameplay of Football Manager? Because I mean, obviously there's a lot to it, but I mean, you don't have the graphics. You know, it's not a shoot 'em up. It's not a platform game. It's not an adventure game.
I think it's depth. I think if you're a football fan who would like to understand how the game works as realistically as possible, it's afforded me certainly a knowledge of leagues that I wouldn't otherwise have come across, players I wouldn't have known about, and you can really get into it. The level of control that you can have over a club is quite significant, so that it takes on commercial aspects. You can build new stadiums, you can build new training facilities, hire coaches, you can set yourself little tasks and try and manage according to a certain philosophy, and I just think it's very engaging for people that love football.
If I give you the 8 Premier League players nominated for the Ballon d'Or, are you able to tell us how they're doing in the world of Football Manager 17 yet?
Sure, give it a go.
OK, let's start with Payet, because Russell's on the floor. West Ham, of course, Payet, one of the 8 PL players nominated for the Ballon d'Or. How's he doing in Football Manager world?
Well, it will kind of depend from game to game, but I mean, I had a quick look at some of the Premier League player stats, and he does look like a really top-class signing for someone who's OK having a player for maybe a few seasons at the very top of the game.
Yeah.
But you've got to watch out, because he is actually quite a bit older than people think he is. So it means that if you end up spending a lot of money on him, it means that in a few seasons he might retire. And like with Football Manager players, I know someone, a Dutch guy, who played for 80 seasons in a single year. And so, you know, that's the kind of thing, like if you spend loads of money on someone at the beginning, then they go on forever and ever. You can spend your money too quickly.
OK, so how old is Payet then? Is he older than he says he is?
29.
He's 29, I think. I think he's going on 30, which is, I mean, he's still pretty young, but it's one of those things in which you kind of, when he came onto the scene last year at West Ham, I was kind of thinking, he's a bit younger than that, but at 29, 30, he's sort of on the cusp.
OK, we've got another Skype caller now. If you were watching last week, Fireworks on the Lime Green sofa, we had Johnny Vance. We've heard from him tonight already, our Spurs fan. He went head-to-head, toe-to-toe, with our Arsenal fan and friend of the show, Kenny Ken, who's on the Skype now. Kenny, you're there, brother.
I'm here. How are you, Justin?
All the better for speaking to you, you lovely man. Fireworks on the Lime Green last week. Everybody loved it, Kenny Ken. Give us an update. You're playing Reading. Are you still winning 1-0 courtesy of the Ox?
Yes, it is. Oxlade-Chamberlain just went through, and he went through in the 30th minute. Like I said, Reading were very comfortable before that. To the extent that the only chance we really had was through Jenkinson early on. But in the 30th minute, Oxlade-Chamberlain's found some space down the right-hand side. He wasn't picked up by Blackett. Gone through and goal, shot across. Angle shot into the bottom corner of the net, 1-0 Arsenal. And I expected a sort of floodgate to open, but they didn't really open. And I thought Reading started to look comfortable. Just before the break, Reading had a couple of chances. The first one felt to Harriet, where he's hit a shot from 30 yards, which is cannoned off Gabriel for a corner. And from the corner routine, Tyler Blackett, the ex-Man United players, headed straight through a goal. And there was even another one where Harriet went close as well when he was offside. But all in all, we're very comfortable. And you know, I said it's been a good run out. We've got players like Iwobi and Elneny who started from Middlesbrough, and we've brought Maitland-Niles in midfield alongside Elneny. We've got like Elliot in the side. We've got Ox on the right, Iwobi in his right position. We've got Lucas Perez up front. Giroud's on the bench, so maybe he might come on the second half when it gets a bit comfortable.
Kenny Ken, Perez, I think, has started for you tonight, has he?
Yeah, Perez has started. He's playing a bit deep for me. He's trying to play in a creative role. What's that? Because Reading have been very comfortable. We struggled to kind of get him in the game, but we played some very good football in the sort of first 2/3 of the pitch. But in the last third, that's where Reading have, like I said, been very organised, and Yapstan's got a bit organised. I think he'd be a bit upset that they conceded that goal, because they were looking comfortable before that, and we didn't look like we were going to get through.
Kenny, I just want to ask you about the balloon d'Or, which we've been talking about tonight. 8 Premier League players have made the list of 33, I think, 8 from our Premier League. Now, Loris, a Spurs keeper, has made that list. I'd like your thoughts on that. But several Arsenal fans online today saying that Ozil should have made the list. What are your thoughts on that as well?
Well, I think with feeling of Ozil is that Ozil, again, Ballon d'Ors are mainly based on what you actually win for your club and winning trophies. And having that late surge, I think that Ozil, in the first half of the season, between September and February, Ozil was fantastic. But I think towards the end, when the sort of the pressure games came along, I thought Ozil was found a bit wanting. He was still creating chances, but he wasn't dominating games. I think not having Santi Cazorla in the side kind of hampered his game, because Cazorla, basically, he's a deep line midfielder. He's like a back player, and he times of enables Ozil to play in a position that he's playing really well, which he's playing this season. So I wasn't too surprised by that. I know a lot of Arsenal fans have dined out on the fact that Ozil's created a lot of assists and he's a fantastic player. There's no doubt he's a player of great ability, but it wasn't Ballon d'Or performance for me.
Okay, Kenny, thank you so much. Would you Skype us in again later on with another update?
I sure will. Hopefully I have some more goals. Good thing is, right, is that Spurs are losing, so that makes me smile.
Kenny Kemp, we'll speak to you later.
Speak to you later, mate.
Love you, mate. We've got a quick Twitter question in for you guys. We've only got a minute left on this part. Let's see the question on the Twitter. And hopefully... Oh, it's just some tweets. I'm so sorry. This is from... it's from Rob. It's from Rob Snow Reardon, friend of the show. How do I have a chance of winning? I love Football Manager. George, how does he have a chance of winning?
I'm assuming he's at Accrington at the moment, so to be totally honest, not in this game. Look at the number of shots. He's had 1 versus 10. I mean, he's in trouble in that match. I think it's probably best just to say...
It's a brilliant answer, but I think he's talking about a competition.
If he's talking about the competition, well, I have no idea how he's going to win that either, to be totally honest. I was looking too busy at that match. That's my instinct.
See, that's your instinct to go for... George, Alex, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You've chilled me out. My psoriasis has been 60% better. Alex, George, give him a big hand. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 2 with Fan TV. Good times. Thank you so much, George. Welcome back to Fan TV. Listen, get involved with the Football Manager competition. If you want to win a code which will get you the game, then you need to tweet your answer to the question, which was as simple as this: when was the first Football Manager? What year was it? November the 4th, Football Manager 17 is about to be released, but the question posed by lovely Chris, friend of the show, from Tales from the Top Flight was, which was the first Football Manager? We're looking for you to basically name that year. Tweet at FanTV UK, email joinin@fantv.me, and Skype us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Let's recap the poll. Let me give you the question again. That's it. Poll 2, of course. Which of these is more likely to leave? Hashtag MUFC before the end of the season. Mourinho, Rooney, Mkhitaryan, or Smalling, who was singled out for a lot of criticism online, at least, for his part in the 4-0 defeat at the weekend. OK, shall we bring some more fans onto the lime green sofa? Please welcome Ollie, he's only 12, our Bournemouth fan, and Sahil, our Manchester United fan. Come onto the sofa, guys. Ollie, lovely to meet you in person. Welcome to the Lime Green. Sahil, lovely to meet you for the first time. It's Sahil, isn't it? Yeah. Listen, Ollie, go careful. He's 11. It's just, you're the same age as my eldest son. He's literally 10 years of age. So no swearing, OK? I don't know what you're like at home, but please, no bad language. OK. Because we are repeated during the day tomorrow. I'm joking, of course. Ollie is, of course, 14. Ollie. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, God. It keeps getting worse. You're 14, then 10. It's like, what am I?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry too, man. But absolutely, the youngest fan I've had on the lime green sofa. Let's hear it for lovely Ollie. OK, let me start with you. You've got a future England manager there in Eddie Howe, have you not?
Oh, it is, definitely. I mean, the point is, it's whether he gets in now, in a couple of years' time, he gets the England job. But what's going on in England, you know? No one understands what's going on. There's managers flying in, flying out. I don't know what happened with Sam Allardyce, but, I mean, it's not looking good for him, for Sunderland.
Something to do with a pint of wine. That was an element of it. Yeah.
Was it? And I've got no idea.
Pints of wine. Yeah.
But, I mean, Eddie Howe, he's going to be the England manager. It's just... It's set for him, and I mean, last time I came on the show, I said that that for every manager, you know, you want to manage your country, you want to, you know, represent your country. But for Eddie Howe, it's like, what's he doing now? He's in a bit of an awkward situation because it's like he's got two people tugging it. You know, it's like, does he leave Bournemouth? You know?
Well, if he leaves Bournemouth, let's say that the pull of the England job is too much for him to bear and he has to go. Would you wish him well and say, you're great, thank you so much, you know, go and win us the World Cup, or would you be devastated?
Be a bit of both, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great to see England actually get out the group stage, but then again, you know, what's going to happen with Bournemouth? It's like, I mean, when Eddie left. Obviously, the club wasn't in a great place, and then when Eddie and Jason came back, even the day that they came back, I mean, we won that game, and it was like it kind of felt like he was at home. It was like, you know, he was meant to be there. But then if he leaves now, it's like it's a piece of the club missing, you know. Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's whether when he leaves we can do what Watford have done, where obviously. They've had a few managers come in and out, but they've done what we've done, and you know, obviously Watford, are, you know, they've been in the Premier League, they've been in the top flight of English football. But like, you look where we are, and it's if Eddie leaves, you know, can we stay up? Can we keep what's going on in the club? Can we keep, you know, improving it and looking on to bigger things? Because I think last season it was to stay up. This season, to a lot of our fans, it was, you know, we need to stay up again. You know, second season. But to be honest, I'm looking for bigger things now from what we've done.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, like you said, you don't really know what to expect because we're a club that has come from really nowhere, and now we're you know in the Premier League, and not only in the Premier League, you know, in the top half of the Premier League. So it's really difficult to understand where we are. It's a bit like Football Manager, to be honest. I mean, like.
Are you a fan?
Not to be honest. I've never really played it myself, but.
Could you leave?
I can. No, but it is a bit like Football Manager when you see people like, you know, you got Preston win the Champions League. What's that? You know, and then like it's mad because you see in the Premier League nowadays, you see players that are in the Premier League that you think should not be in the Premier League, and then you've got Football Manager where you've got teams that are in the Champions League that shouldn't be in the Champions League, and it's a bit like that with Bournemouth. Like we shouldn't be in the Premier League. I mean, from where we were 3-4 seasons ago, you would be looking at where we are and you would think, like, you know, they're a championship club, and then suddenly we've gone so far up the table, we've moved so far as a club that it's like, if Eddie leaves, what happens next?
Okay, Ollie, you are awesome. Let's hear it for Ollie. You are awesome. Let's bring in Sahil. Lots to talk about, of course, with Bournemouth, but Manchester United only 2 points above you, Ollie, currently in the league table. What on earth?
You can repeat that if you want.
Only 2 points above you, Ollie, in the league table. Sahil, what on earth happened? You completely capitulated against Chelsea.
Yeah, it was...
Humiliating?
Pathetic, humiliating, embarrassing. I think the worst bit about it was that they've got a back three, and 2 of them are David Luiz and Gary Cahill, and they kept a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Like, those 2 are terrible.
Yeah.
How... I mean, it all started with, again, team selection. I mean, Jose doesn't know his best team yet, kind of understandably, because, you know, we had players coming back from the Euros, and people forget it's only 8-9 games in. But I failed to understand how... And it's been 3 managers now. We thought it was just Moyes, then we thought it was just Van Gaal, now it's Jose.
Yeah.
Fellaini must be the greatest player ever in training to just keep getting picked.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy... I don't like singling out people, and it's just not because of Fellaini that we're in this position. I mean, it's a collective thing. But the man is a tree with legs. I mean, we're saying to players like Schweinsteiger, World Cup winner, German captain, Schneiderlin, Michael Carrick, no, you boys sit there, Fellaini starting. I mean, the man offers nothing. I mean, he's got a bit of height and he's got presence about him. First game of the season against Bournemouth, Harry Arter was out jumping him, out muscling him.
Yeah.
On the weekend...
It's not surprising, though. I mean, Harry Arter.
N'Golo Kante on the weekend, out muscling him. I mean, N'Golo Kante is brilliant, but you just seem to say, why is he in the team? A few days before, Carrick played against Fenerbahce, albeit against Fenerbahce in the Europa League. But we had a midfield 3 of Carrick, Herrera, and Pogba was doing the business. I mean, you could see this guy's the real deal, and he will come good. I mean, do you know what I mean? People forget he's on a 5-year deal, not a 4-month deal.
As the goal sting, there's been a goal, and unfortunately for me, Hull have scored again against Bristol City. It's Hull 2, Bristol City 0. Thank you. Unbelievable. And in Football Manager, we win the Champions League. Football Manager, we win the Champions League, and we're currently losing 2-0 to Hull. Unbelievable. Oh, we've got a Skype caller as well. I'm so sorry. Let's go to Joe, is it, on the Skype? Joe, are you there? Hey, baby, how you doing?
Not bad, mate, not bad.
Joe, big game for you tomorrow, Manchester Derby. How excited are you?
I'm never excited for the Manchester Derby. I'm always absolutely bricking it before that game. Never look forward to it. But still, you got to take him, haven't you?
Well, listen, Joe, Manchester United were a hot mess against Chelsea. Will they be able to recover in time?
Yeah, of course they will. They've got a very good team this season, and actually that Chelsea game might not be the best thing in the world for City, because going into this game, United will have such a point to prove, much more than we will.
Joe, can you ever remember a time when both Manchester teams went into a derby, both of them, in such bad form? Manchester United in particular, of course. But both of you haven't won in 5.
Not really, no, because for a long time it was them always in great form, and then for a couple of years it was us in great form, and now we're both really not doing well. But you know what? Everything changes in a derby, and I think that both teams will be right up for it to prove a point.
Why can't you win, Joe? What's happened?
It's been a mixed bag. There's been teams who've just parked the bus on us, and sometimes you can't do any more than just doing what you can in front of them. And I think in certain games, not all of them, but in some games, we've done everything right but score, and you've got to give credit to the opposition. Barcelona, we were even more unlucky just because our goalkeeper had a moment of madness. If it weren't for that, we were well in that game at 1-0.
Interesting stat that I'm going to repeat it. I said it earlier as well. The last time Pep went 5 without a win, he ended up winning the treble at Barcelona, or Barca, as I like to call them.
I'd take that.
So, Joe, I take it you saw highlights at least of the Manchester United-Chelsea game, did you not?
I watched it from about 30 minutes in, so I missed the first 2 goals.
Well, we've got Sahil, our Manchester United fan, on the line green. Mourinho looked completely clueless by the end of that match.
I think he played the wrong tactics for that game. He was too open. He needed to be a lot more defensive, and obviously I don't think Bailey getting injured did any good for them either.
He just didn't seem to know what to do, Sahil.
No, I think it was kind of, a few days before or a week before with the Liverpool game, like people say, we parked the bus. And then on Sunday, it was a bit of a strange game because it kind of like, I think he was more shocked in the sense that when they went 1-0 up, Zlatan had a chance to make it 1-1. Then when they went 2-0 up, we had a few chances to make it 2-1.
Yeah.
But it was just as if we weren't taking our chances and they were. I mean, I can recall with quite a few efforts we had. So I don't think it was, I mean, our defending was inexcusable. It was, you know, under nines defending. But going forward, I just think Chelsea took their chances and scored, and we didn't.
Here's a stat for you, Sahil. I love it, and I want to get your opinion on this stat, Joe, as well. Manchester United have now played 9, they've won 4, they've lost 3, 14 points, exactly the same as when David Moyes was in charge at this stage. What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, actually, when David Moyes was the manager, they'd already played Chelsea, Liverpool, City and possibly Arsenal by this stage, I think. I can't really remember. This season, though, they've played City and Chelsea just out of the top teams. And I would also say that with Moyes, it was an ageing squad, whereas this is supposed to be a much better team. They've brought in a lot of players and they've spent, you know, more money than anyone else ever has on an individual player in Pogba. So I think it's hard. And the expectations before the Moyes season, I think everyone knew United were going to have a bit of an off year, whereas this season, a lot of people were tipping them for the title at the start. So this is really disappointing.
We've only got a minute left before the break, Joe. Sorry. So, Sahil, no better than under Moyes, and we know what happened to Moyes.
I wouldn't read too much into that. I mean, under Moyes, I think it was the whole aura around his team was... I mean, he came up saying we aspire to be like Man City. So I don't know whether he means like we aspire to have a home stadium with only 10 people turn up, not including the away fans.
Joe! Awful, unbelievable.
But yeah, no, I mean, Jose's still the man. He's got a new side. It's going to take time, and it'll come good again.
Joe, we've got 20 seconds before the break. Mourinho, is he now living off his reputation? Very quickly.
No, not really. I think it will come good for them, and they will finish, you know, top 4 probably this season. I think the Mourinho is just someone who 10 years ago was the best manager in the world.
Joe, I've got to stop you there, brother, but thank you so much. We've got a break. Skype us in again. I love you, baby.
Love you too, mate.
Thank you, Joe. We will be back after this break. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. because yours is genuine,
Oh, is it genuine?
whereas Sean's is a snide.
Oh, right.
It's a fugazi.
Oh, is it?
It's
Oh,
a
right.
fugate. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. So that's proper. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, then hopefully you've refreshed because we don't want to lose you. Get in touch. Fan TV channel is the Skype. At Fan TV UK is the Twitter. Join in at fantv.me is the email. Before we go back to the chat, and I want to launch the third Twitter poll as well, just got to say, talking in the break to lovely Russell, our West Ham fan, who I did a shout out to his daughter earlier on in the show, Lauren, for her 30th birthday tomorrow. It's not tomorrow. Unbelievable. When's her birthday, Russ?
Save it.
Save it. He says he doesn't even know. He doesn't. His own daughter. He doesn't even know. Lauren, happy birthday for whenever your birthday is. Russell doesn't even know. But many happy returns anyway. Let's wrap up poll 2. Let me remind you of the question: which of these is more likely to leave MUFC before the end of the season? The results are in. 27% Mourinho, 46% Rooney, 20% Mkhitaryan, 7%. Smalling, and of course we have got a Wayne Rooney Broomer. Wayne Rooney going back to Everton, possibly on loan. Have you heard that particular Broomer, Sahil?
No, but I've been expecting this for about the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Just because it's an easy story to make and it's a story that's going to sell.
It might actually not be on loan, it could be a permanent move, but the Broomer is Wayne Rooney to go back to his former club, Everton. Let's launch poll 3. It's our third and final poll of the evening. Aside from Ronaldo and Messi, who's the most deserving of the Ballon d'Or? Suarez, Griezmann, Neymar, Bale. Suarez, Griezmann, Neymar, Bale. And on Bale, who surely for me, he's on his way to becoming the greatest British export of all time, Ollie. I don't know what you think about that. We were talking about him earlier. I think he's just signed a new deal, and it's reported that they're going to be paying him £750,000 a week. A week. £750,000 a week. Now, of course, Kevin Keegan, when I was a kid, Hamburg, twice European Footballer of the Year. But Steve McManaman, of course, played for Real Madrid for 5 years. But you have to say, Bale on his way to becoming our greatest ever footballing export. Ollie, you a fan? Worth £750,000 a year? A week, rather? A week?
A week. It's a nice holiday for him, isn't it? He's loving it over there.
He is loving it.
I mean, you kind of expected him to fit into Real's play style because he's such an athlete. And you look at Real Madrid, and not only are Real Madrid such a talented, obviously, team of individual players, but together they play so well. And I think when you put Bale with the likes of Ronaldo, you always expected him to do well over there. But it's incredible, really, when you look at him and where he's kind of come from, because obviously he was at Southampton Academy and obviously then moved into Tottenham. But you kind of look at him and you think, even though you expect him now to be in the Real Madrid kind of like Champions League finals, all of the big occasions, you kind of look at him and you think, that's Bale that was playing for Tottenham 3 years ago. Like, who plays for Tottenham? Who plays for Tottenham? And 3 years ago he's at Tottenham. And you think, look how well he's doing now. He's at Real Madrid. So
when you were old enough to drink, I want to hear it. But honestly, he's brilliant, isn't he? It's just absolutely. I drink schnapps. I like schnapps. I don't know about you. I like a cheeky schnapps. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so that's poll 3. Get involved at FanTV UK is the Twitter. Join in at fantv.me is the email. If you don't have the Twitter, Skype, call us FanTV channel. Let's talk Sissoko. Elbow on Harry Arter. Now, Harry Arter very graciously has accepted Sissoko's apology. Credit to Harry Arter in this day and age. He said, look, we've sorted it out. He's apologised. I accept. It's fine. Let's move on. But nonetheless, a 3-match ban. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, has he been given a 3-match ban now?
3-match ban for Sissoko.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But obviously after the game on social media, it was obviously being reported that he was going to get a ban. Some fans, obviously from Tottenham, said, he didn't mean to. It was overreaction. But I mean, I met him after the game, Sissoko, when he came out. Yeah, he came out and took some photos of people. And I mean, obviously no one brought it up, but he looked a bit kind of. It's hard to explain, but he looked a bit kind of like he knew that he was going to be in a bit of trouble.
Bit sheepish.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was kind of like he's been known, obviously, he's a very physical player, and so is Harry Arter. But when Harry Arter goes onto the ground and rolls around, something's wrong, because Harry Arter gets straight back up.
Well, you said during the break to me, actually, you said you were very surprised by Harry Arter's reaction, not liking to react in that way.
I mean, I love Harry Arter. Anyone that knows Harry Arter and gets to kind of know him as a football player, he loves the game so much that he's not one of those kind of players that will get someone sent off or try and, you know. But he is one of those players that is like a Joey Barton, that he will jump into a challenge. And obviously, he's one of our key players. It was a 50-50 to start on Saturday. So it was kind of, you know what he's like. But I wasn't expecting him just to get up and after the game to be interviewed and to say, you know, if he meant it, he'll get banned. If he didn't, then we'll let it go. But fair play to him. I mean, obviously, you don't like to see players kind of saying, you know. And
interesting fact as well, Ollie. Harry Arter is actually move number 85 in the Kama Sutra, which is just under the Italian chandelier, which you're too young to know anything about.
I've got no idea what you're on about.
Quite right.
No
That's
idea.
right. That's right. Straight red though, clear red, straight red.
I think it was
for Sissoko,
I mean, it's a clear elbow, and whether he meant to or not, you know, you can't put your hand that high, because it was like from the challenge to where it was, he didn't look like he was going straight for the player, but you can't go into a challenge like that. You know, it's like you know the game, you know the rules. You can't be going into challenges with your arm up here and not expecting to be in trouble for it. But to be honest, the referee was awful all game, and for a game that was very close throughout. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw the game, but like if you like Match of the Day and kind of different kind of programs didn't really represent it as it was. Because it was a very close game, and there was kind of, even though they're title contenders, we're not. You know, I'd love to see us do a Leicester, but we're not. You know.
But you're only 2 points behind Manchester United, though, Ollie. This is the thing.
We are, but then again, we're Manchester United. They could be getting relegated if they're playing, the team that they're playing.
You could be getting relegated, Sahil. You could be getting relegated, Sahil.
No, we're not
it's
that
not my
bad.
words, Sahil. That's all his words.
No,
you could be getting relegated.
He's lucky he's only 9 years old, otherwise.
Brilliant.
Honestly, though, right, they didn't even lose at the bridge. They got demolished at the bridge.
It's embarrassing.
I mean, like, I love a trip to the bridge. We came to the bridge and we beat them. You came to the bridge and, you know, it was almost like you just kind of sat down and said, you know what, we're just going to let you
It's got to the point where I feel like part of me wants to say to them, yeah, but we beat you at the beginning of the season. This is United and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
This is what it's gone to.
I know. They came to the bridge and they beat them, Sahil. You're going to get relegated.
No,
this is the state of affairs.
They could get relegated. I know. I said. I'm getting confused myself now. I said they will get relegated.
They will get relegated
if they don't change what they're doing, because Mourinho is one of the world's best managers. Still is, right? And obviously with Chris earlier saying, when you asked him, you know, if he's kind of living on his name still, he's still one of the world's best managers. But then again, you do question if he's one of the world's best managers if he's still playing for Laney.
Well, absolutely right. We've had a goal. That's the goal sting. And it means that Liverpool 2, Tottenham 0. Daniel Sturridge, he's on fire. He's got a brace. He's got his second goal. So it's Liverpool 2, Spurs 0. Hopefully we'll hear again from Johnny Vance later on in the show. And it's now Newcastle United 4, Preston 0.
We lost to Preston. We lost to Preston.
You lost to Preston as well. Of course you did.
We haven't lost to Preston recently.
They haven't lost to Preston. They haven't lost to Preston.
They haven't lost to Preston, no.
But you're going to get relegated, Sahil.
Yeah, relegated.
Apparently we are, yeah.
Okay, I just want to briefly, we talk about him a lot. Pogba, now I mention this about once a week, and it's got to tell you something. Gianluca, our Italian football expert, or Serie A expert on this show, was at Juventus when Pogba was there. He said Pogba turns up for 1 in 4. He said that 10 weeks ago. He's absolutely right, isn't he, Sahil? Pogba just doesn't seem to know what to do.
He's a poor man's Andrew Sermon, isn't he?
Oh.
He is. He is.
Oh, he's on fire. Look at Sahil. He hates it. Oh, look at him. It's like taking one in the gut.
Literally, if he wasn't 4 years old, honestly.
Brilliant. Pogba just hasn't found his place in that side yet. or Mourinho hasn't found a place for him.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm going to put it out that Pogba's my favourite player. I mean, when he was at United the first time round, I had Pogba 42 at the back of my back. So,
Really?
I mean, the amount of stick I've been getting is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, the boy's on a 5-year deal, and he's been judged after 2 months. And I think people need to realise that he had a Euros with France.
Yeah.
Got to the semis, I believe.
Yeah.
This is effectively his pre-season, because during the summer, I think the Euros ended in June, July, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And then he had about a month where he went on his holiday, and then he came back to not knowing what club he'd be at the end of the season. So I wasn't expecting massive amounts from him until the new year at least, just because this 7-8 games we've had this season, however many it is, it's effectively his pre-season, because he's finding his feet again. Obviously, people are going to look at the price tag, but he didn't turn up and say, right, 8-9 million and I'll come. But like you said, he's not having the right players around him, and he's not being played in the right position. He was playing defensive midfielder at the beginning of the season. I mean, I keep going back to the game, Fenerbahce, I know it's Europa League and they're a poor Turkish side, but he had Carrick behind him, which is similar to when he was at Juve, because he had Pirlo. And then he had Herrera next to him doing the run-in, which is kind of like a Marquisio, what they had. It just allowed him to flourish.
We got 20 seconds before the break, but where was Carrick? He was brilliant against Fenerbahce. Where was Carrick?
I've no idea. He should be starting. The only reason I think that he might not be starting because Jose wants someone with legs. But I mean, if you're playing with someone with Fellaini, I mean, how can you pick Fellaini over Carrick?
Jump in there because we've got a break. We'll be back. We'll talk more Fellaini, more Pogba, more Bournemouth, more Wiltshire. I want to ask you about that. Don't go anywhere. Back in 2 minutes. It's Fan TV. Good times. Let me see that watch again. Is it Fugazi? You think it's a Fugazi? Is it a Snide? Is it a Snide? It looks real to me. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. If you've been watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, hopefully you've refreshed. You've got to do that at the top of every hour because we don't want to lose you. Got one of my favourite ever lime green sofas tonight. Honestly, they're a double act. Sahil, our Manchester United fan, and the awesome Ollie, our 4-year-old Bournemouth fan. Gold. And Ollie's sister is here tonight as well. And his little brother is and Russell is still here. He doesn't know when his own daughter's birthday is. Unbelievable parenting skills there. For the second time tonight, it's time for my favourite feature. I'll have a foul, please. Yes, you've had one vowel so far. It was a simple A, the second letter from this famous footballer's Christian name. Let's have another vowel, please. Let's see if this will tell us anything more. It's a single E. In fact, should we have another one? Let's have another vowel. Go on. Let's have another vowel. Can we have another one? And we got a couple of cheeky eyes. Perfect. Ollie, we're looking for the name of a footballer involved in a fouling incident. If you know the name, don't say the name, but do you think you know what it might be?
Not at the moment.
Sahil.
Nah.
Sahil, whilst you ponder, I'll have a foul, please. I'm going to bring on Dave, who's our Wolves fan. Dave, you there, baby? Dave, you there? I can't... Oh my goodness, it's Harry Potter without the glasses. It's good to see you, baby. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all the better for speaking to you, Harry. Skyping live from Hogwarts. That is...
I've been told to wear the colours, so I'm just wearing it, you know what I mean?
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Thank you so much for Skyping in, you lovely man.
That's cool.
Dave, okay, big news for Wolves. Zenga is out. I've got a rumour based around that. But before the rumour, what are your thoughts on Zenga's sacking?
It's a lot sooner than I thought. I mean, we went on a little bad patch, and I thought maybe he'll have a game or two to maybe redeem himself. But it was out of the blue. There was no rumours or anything leading up to it. It just randomly happened today. So yeah, quite surprised really.
Do you think he should have been given more time, Dave, or did he have long enough?
I think personally, I think he should have been given another couple of games, but I mean, it's a cutthroat business. These Chinese guys spent a lot of money and they want instant success.
Instant success. The Chinese owners have come into Hill, and it would seem in the modern age, if you don't get that instant success, you are out. So therefore, Mourinho hasn't got long.
Yeah, the way the managerial positions are all going, they're all dropping like flies. But yeah, no, he'll be given time.
Yeah.
I think hopefully the board would now. I think everyone's on board with right. He's the right man to take us through. I mean, you just have to look at this CV.
There's a lot of goodwill there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
For him as well.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like anyone's really turning on him yet. But Dave, we've got lovely Ollie, our Bournemouth fan, on the sofa. How much would you like to replace Zenga with Eddie Howe?
I'd probably take Howe, every day of the week, really. I think there's a couple of good... I think Eddie Howe's one of those managers that can work really well on a budget. Well, to be fair, Bournemouth did get some more money in the last few years or so, but he did quite well on a small budget to get them to where they are, to be fair. But some of the managers that we've been linked with today... I don't know. I mean, there's Big Sam that's linked, and I think I'd take him every day of the week, a local lad as well. So I think that'd be a really good appointment for us if we could lure him into the Molineux.
From the Black Country, of course. I don't know if he's still hiding out in Benidorm, but you'd be happy if he flew back, you'd get him a pint of wine and say, welcome back.
Well, every day of the week. Probably a pint of Banks's bitter as well to welcome him back to the Molineux as well, yeah.
Cheeky. Dave, I've got a rumour for you surrounding Zenga's replacement. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hit me up.
Broomer! And there's the pampered pooch. Well, twice in a night I get the pampered pooch. They're on the champ crack. I love it. Keep those pampered pooches coming in. Hashtag pampered pooch. Dave, I feel a bit wrong saying this to you, but I've got a pampered pooch for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Hit me up.
Okay, Roberto Mancini to replace Zenga at Wolves. Look at the eyes.
Wow. Well, I'll see. He'll probably be wearing the same scarf as this. He'll probably be asking me to borrow it in the dugout if he came. But I haven't seen that one, actually. That'd be a really interesting one if he came. I'd enjoy that one, I think.
So who have you heard then? Give us your rumours then, Dave.
So, throughout the day, it's mainly been a guy called Marco Silva, who's kind of got the links with some of the Portuguese guys like Mendes, who was linked with the club, and Big Sam. But in the last hour or so, Dougie Freedman's gone from 40-1 to 2-1. Now he's the favourite, Dougie Freedman.
Dougie Freedman has gone from 40-1 to 2-1 in the last hour.
Yeah, in the last hour or so. So now he's currently the favourite. So I don't know if someone's put a bit of money on that or they've got some inside info. I'm not too sure on that. So it's quite surprising, really.
And I'm just hearing from my lovely producer, Neil, that Hi-Ho Silver is the current bookies' favourite. Let me bring Ollie in. Mancini to Watford. Can you see that? Roberto Mancini to Watford?
To Watford?
To Wolves. I'm sorry, Dave. Wolves. I'm on the champ crack.
To Wolves. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, Roberto Mancini's been one of the managers that you kind of forgot about in the last couple of years. From what he did with City, it's kind of would he go to a club like Wolves? You know, Obviously, you don't know where he wants to be. Does he want to go back into football? I don't know where he is now. Is he not at a club now? I'm not.
Where is Mancini? Sean, where's Mancini at the moment?
He's in Turkey, isn't he? I think.
He's in Turkey. Is he in Turkey?
I think so, yeah.
Not Galatasaray. He's not Galatasaray, is he? Where's Mancini?
He was at Gallo, yeah.
He is Galatasaray.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so you've given us a couple of rumours. You've mentioned Allardyce. Who would you like to see though? Where's your heart, Dave? Who would you like to see at the club?
I mean, I've just checked Mancini. Actually, he hasn't got a club. He was last at Inter. I think he left Turkey, went to Inter. Now he's not got any club. But I think I haven't heard that. But I think that'd be a decent appointment. Otherwise, I think it'd be Marco Silva, who was last at Olympiacos last season. He had an 80% win percentage. So I mean, that's no mean feat. Even with they beat Arsenal and everything last season. Or Big Sam as well. I think they'd be, my top two, Marco Silva or Big Sam, and they're two of the bookies' favourites. So I would take
Marco Silva's the current favourite, but interesting. Friedman, why would he go in the space of an hour? Why would he go 40-1 to 2-1? That would suggest that somebody knows something, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even when we appointed Zenga, we sat Jacket at like 11 p.m. The next morning there was the odds. Yeah. And I saw, I think it was Bruce and so on were the favourites. And then all of a sudden, someone on Twitter said odds on Walter Zenga. And the Zenga odds are about 8-1. And within the next 20 minutes, it just slashed down to like 1-2 and everything. He got announced within the next 5 minutes. So obviously someone knew something somewhere.
Well, you never know. If Friedman is appointed between now and 10 o'clock, you would have heard it here first. Dave, we got to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for Skyping in again, brother.
No
and
problem.
Good luck with the Quidditch tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. I'll try my best.
Let's hear it for Dave, everybody. There's the goal sting. It's now Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1. Sean, any idea who scored the Spurs goal? Janssen on the score sheet there for Spurs. It was a penalty. It's Liverpool 2 and it's Tottenham 1. And Arsenal are 2-0 up. Hopefully we'll speak to Kenny Ken later on in the show. Let me pick you up on something that somebody mentioned on the Skype earlier, Sahil. Do you think, in all seriousness, Liverpool will now look at the game against you last Monday night and see it as being 2 points dropped? No. How much does that hurt you?
No, massively. The way everyone's talking, like you can kind of see why they're saying it. Yeah. But Sir Alex always said to always look at the table after Christmas rather than before it. I mean, we've never been great starters to a league. I mean, we haven't been as bad as we are now. But I think it's the teams we're dropping points again. I mean, against Stoke, we should have beaten about 7-0. Drew 1-1. Watford away. Chelsea, who were, let's be honest, a week, 10 days ago, Conte was in Jose's position now. Like everyone was saying, he's been battered by Arsenal, Liverpool, he needs to go, blah, blah, blah. So,
fickle world of football.
Yeah, and before the City game that we played about a month and a half ago, we were the title favourites. So, look, people are going to talk. So if we're still struggling after Christmas, then you can start to worry. But I still see us as title contenders. I really do.
Okay. Do you see Manchester United as title contenders? I'd love to get your point of view, all you non-Manchester United fans, or even if you're a Manchester United fan and you think you'll struggle to make top 4 based on current form. Tweet at FanTV.
I told you they're getting relegated. They get relegated.
Ollie thinks they'll get relegated. Sahil, you're going down according to... Not my words, Sahil.
Yeah, I know,
not my words. Let me ask you about Jack Wilshere. Completed his first 90 minutes for Bournemouth. Yeah. How exciting is that for you?
It's brilliant. I mean, I've never seen anyone celebrate a 0-0 draw more than the Cherries fans. It was brilliant. Yeah. We got absolutely mental. It like we've just been promoted, honestly. But it was great to see Jack Wilshere play, and not only play, but obviously, like you said, the 90 minutes, because he was 50-50 whether he was going to start with Harry, because I think Wilshere picked up a knock just before the game, and it wasn't sure if he was playing or not, and that was the same with Harry as well. But to see Jack not only play, but to play the full 90 minutes for the first time, I think since 2011 or something like that. Yeah. It was brilliant, and he's been in some good on some good form, because, I mean, he hasn't got a goal and an assist, but he's hit the woodwork 3 times, and we've hit the woodwork 9 times overall, more than any other team in the league. And to be honest, if it wasn't for a fantastic save from, I think it was Lloris, I think was it Callum who hit the bar? I'm not sure. But I mean, Wilshere's he's playing well.
Let me ask you, Ollie, about Jamie Redknapp's comments. I don't know if you're aware of this. Jamie Redknapp came out and implied that Jack Wilshere's career at Arsenal is practically over and that he has to prove himself all over again. Wilshere replied to that. He said he's entitled to his opinion. I'm just trying to get back to what I was, and enjoying my football today was a massive step towards that. Unnecessary from Redknapp, unhelpful?
I mean, it doesn't help him, does it? I mean, like, he's not been... like, with Jack Wilshere, it's different because obviously there was a few things in the news a few years ago, and that didn't help him. Then there was problems with, obviously, his injuries. We all know Jack Wilshere's known for his injuries. But that's not going to help him, obviously.
Let me ask Sahil, because there's only 1 minute left. I want to get as much as I can. Sahil, is Jack Wilshere's career as an Arsenal player over?
I think what Redknapp says is completely justified. I mean, I heard a stat on the weekend. Apparently, that was the first 90 minutes he's completed in about 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
His first 90 minutes.
So, and when you think about stuff like that, I mean, you can only live on a reputation for so long. When he was about 18, 19, I think Paul Scholes hit the nail on the head. I think about a year ago, or a year and a half ago, where he said Jack Wilshere in the last 7-8 years hasn't improved. He's still on that reputation. So
20 seconds before we say goodbye, last question for you. One paper labelled Pogba an expensive passenger that United cannot afford to keep carrying. In 10 seconds, what are your thoughts on that?
He's on the Ballon d'Or, and he's on the Ballon d'Or list, and other players aren't. So.
He's on the Balloon d'Or, true enough. Let's hear it for Sahil and Ollie. Awesome. Sahil, please come back. Ollie, I love you. Don't do drugs. Stay away from drugs. Seriously, stay away from... I love you. Stay away from drugs. Okay, a big thank you to Ollie and Sahil. We'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere. Good times. Sure, we all know it's false. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. If you're watching on Facebook Live or the YouTube, remember to refresh. We don't want to lose you. Can we just hear it again for Ollie and Sahil? We found a new double act. Yeah, it's Ollie's bedtime. He's had to go. Listen, get involved with anything that you've heard on the show tonight. It's a hot show. We'd love to hear from you via the Skype Fan TV channel, via the Twitter at FanTV UK, or the email, if you don't have the Twitter, join in at fantv.me. We'll keep the goal updates coming in. We're going to try and get Johnny Vance back on the Skype for a Spurs update. Don't forget the celebrity wash bag, which I've tea-leafed. I've given you 2 clues. Should we have another clue? First clue was the Fugazi Hugo Boss watch from Sean's green wrist. A couple of ski gloves, and I think there's another clue in this bag, or is there one on the... Oh, no, there it is. It's some matte clay, yes. It's a tin of man paste for your hair. It's a tin of man paste for your hair. So you've got man paste for your hair, You've got ski gloves. That's the essential clue, Rosie. Ski gloves. And, of course, the Fugazi Hugo Boss watch. If you think you know whose wash bag I've kleptoed, then get in touch at FanTV UK is the Twitter. We love him so much, even though he doesn't even know his own daughter's birthday. He's stuck around, so we're bringing him back to the lime green sofa alongside Mark, our Tottenham fan. It's Russell and Mark. Come on, you lovely boys. Mark, an absolute pleasure to meet you. Have a seat.
Again.
Russ, welcome back.
Cheers, man.
How are you going to be able to show your face?
I know.
What is wrong with
How
you?
can I forget the 27th of October?
I know, he still doesn't know.
27th. The 27th.
What day is it today, Sean?
It's the 25th.
It's in 2 days' time.
It's 2 days' time. I know, we're going away for the weekend. I'm taking away me 2 grandkids
I like
as
the
well.
fact that you actually said, no, 30 years, I love you, baby, and all that, and you actually don't know the date.
I remember.
No clue.
It was the
It's
lead
not.
up to it as well, 30 years.
Mark, he's not going away. He's got no idea.
We are
He's not going anywhere.
Where are you going?
I can't tell you.
He doesn't know where he's going.
I do know. I'm going to get no abuse.
The boss knows, doesn't she?
Yeah, she knows. No, it's the old family. The old family.
Perfect. Have a wonderful time and give Lauren our love. Time, if that is in fact your birthday. He's back on the Skype as Johnny Vance. Johnny, are you there, baby? John, we've got another Tottenham fan on the line green. It's the lovely Mark, John, Mark. You've pulled one back, courtesy of Janssen. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, it's well, it's going. It could be going a lot better. Liverpool have looked the better side. I have to hold my hands up. I had high hopes for our youngsters. They're good players, but Liverpool look good for their lead. In all fairness, we've given absolutely no support to Vincent Janssen, who's worked his socks off. He scored a penalty, but Soldado kept on scoring penalties. So,
John, how many pens is that for Janssen now?
It's 2. It's 2 for 2. It could be worse.
He's
But
like the
we've given him
antithesis of
nothing.
Aguero.
Yeah, I mean, he's better than, I think, 100% record, so much better.
John, it's not. You can't really bill this game as Klopp v Poch. It's not that tonight, is it, in all honesty?
No, it's not. The league game will be much more, or the return league fixture, I should say, will be much more interesting. Both players, or both sets of players, young sets of players, by and large, have come out hungry, and they've gone after the game, both sides really. But at home, I think on the night, Liverpool have looked slightly better than us. They've had a lot of chances, in all fairness. Sturridge should have put the game out of sight. Hasn't had his best night, but still got 2 goals. So he's had one absolute shocker there. He completely swung for it and missed, and it hit his standing leg and went backwards. He had one of his cheeky shots from standing where he has almost no backlift, bit of a toe poke, hit the bar. So Liverpool should have had this game dead and buried. So it might get interesting, and we're into the last minute or so now.
John, let's talk about some of the rookies, because you mentioned earlier Harry Winks, Cameron Carter-Vickers to name but 2, I think, of 4 rookies that started tonight. Who's caught your eye?
Not really anyone. I hate to say it, but I think I through a few too many times. They've kept a bit of shape, but balls have just been slotted on the diagonal straight through them too many times for me. So I was a bit of a Carter-Vickers fan, but tonight he hasn't been particularly good. Anoma hasn't been particularly good either. I thought it would be a bit more penetrative, would have showed his pace a bit more. And Kudu's not done too much either. So it's not been our best night, sadly.
Let me ask Mark on the sofa. Mark, what did you think of the lineup for tonight?
Well, it was expected.
Yeah.
Like you said, the boys said earlier about bigger fish to
Bigger
fry.
fish.
I mean, and the fact is, the Champions League, we work so hard to get there, it means everything. So the Champions League and the league, we've got big league games coming up. And if you look at it and say, would you rather get into the quarter-final of the League Cup, or would you take 3 points against Leicester at the weekend? I'll take the league points.
Positive news, though. No goals, of course, from the weekend. But Harry Kane, we're hearing, should return next week.
Yeah, I think they've been earmarking the Arsenal game for a while. But it is a case of, let's not rush him back. I mean, we've not scored the goals that we should have done of lately, but we're creating chances. We've looked a little bit toothless without him. But we're still, there's a point between the top 5. And we're in a strong enough position. We're second in our Champions League group. So, the wheels haven't come off as such. I think, people are getting a little bit sort of beyond themselves.
The wheels haven't come off, of course, so you've still got... you're still undefeated.
Yeah, we're unbeaten and we're a point off the top, so,
The problem is, though, and I mentioned this to Johnny Vance earlier, Mark, a Tottenham fan was talking about this online today, John. You've dropped out of the top 4. You rode your luck at the weekends, and 2 big money summer signings have been disappointing. So it's not all roses, is it, at the moment?
No, it's not. No, it's not, because we should be 4 points clear at the top of the league, or 3 points clear at the top of the league, because they're 2 games that we should have won. But West Brom, other teams will drop points at West Brom. It's a difficult place to go. You know, Tony Pulis sets his team up. When Mourinho does it, it's genius. When he goes away to sides and he sets them up defensively. But when Tony Pulis does it, it's negative.
Yeah.
But teams will lose points at West Brom, because they're that sort of a side.
Now, let's talk about Sissoko. Out 3-match ban. Is it 3 matches?
Yeah, it's 3 games, yeah. I think they've accepted it. They haven't appealed.
No appeal, that's right.
Yeah, it's deserved. Harry Arter came out and said that, you know, I don't think he meant it. He apologised and he said sorry, but it was an elbow, so he deserves his 3-match ban, which I don't think is a bad thing, because I don't think he's played well. So maybe a little rest and out of the firing line, because I think that the tags weighing a lot on him. £30 million is a lot of money. And
Mark, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you make blades come out of your knuckles? It's Wolverine. Honestly, I can't stop thinking about Wolverine when I'm talking to you. Don't you think, Ross?
You know what, a funny story about that, I was playing football last season against a guy, and we sort of had a bit of a tackle and a bit of a Barney, and I'd said something to him, and he went, all right, calm down, Wolverine. Right? And I just turned around and I was like, cheers, mate, you've killed me there.
I love it. It's the beard, don't you think? It's just honestly straight down camera 1. Look at Wolverine. Look at the beard. It's definitely the beard. Wolverine on the lime green sofa. I love it with all my heart. So, Johnny, is that full time now?
No, not quite.
So this is a game that you're not happy to lose to lose a game, but you're not going to lose any sleep, John, over this one.
God, no. I mean, I was interested in all I was really bothered about is seeing the young lads and seeing how they play. Would have loved to have gone to Anfield and got a win, but for me, more importantly, and not that I particularly went out to besmirch a UK Cup that I love, but I was more interested in seeing how the younger players got on. Some of the subs getting a full 90 minutes, a full game. I was more interested to see how the team got on, how it was bearing up for the season, really, more so than anything else. Just like Mark said, you know, we've got the Champions League. We've got to prioritise that, and our fixture list coming up is well, very exciting. But it's,
well, on that note, John, you're a week away from the big derby. How are you shaping up for that?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we're kind of, we haven't really hit the ground running, but we're clocking up points, and I must say we're 1 point off the top of the league. We've got Champions League football to look forward to, so we've got to be positive. You know, I like to think we're going to hit some form into the derby. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be such a big game.
Arsenal, of course, on fire at the moment, as we all know. I think that it's still currently 2-0, courtesy of a brace from the Ox against Reading.
It's Bulgaria, the Bulgarian champions, and Reading. I wouldn't go as far as to say on fire. You know, they're just winning games that we expect to win.
Okay, so if you've got Harry Kane back and Harry Kane is fit, do you think you can take Arsenal a week from now?
Of course we can on the day. You know, it's a derby. Intensity, it's going to be running high. The form book, you throw them out the window for games like that. We're going to go there, and I think for the first time in a long time, in credit's due to them, we're going to go there on the day. I think as levels with them, really. That they can't underestimate us for a moment, because we're going to go there. We're going to give them a hell of a game.
Johnny, I love you, brother, and I just want to say once again, it'll be on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. You and Kenny Ken on the lime green sofa last week was awesome. Thank you, sir.
Well, it was a pleasure to be a part of it. It was good to meet him finally. That was a long time coming. So hopefully we'll have round 2.
Absolutely, very soon. Thanks a lot. Johnny Vance, everybody.
Take care.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much. Russ, yes. I want to ask you a question that came up earlier. Icardi, I want your thoughts on this, is now being discussed in terms of a move to West Ham to join up with his compatriot, of course, Lanzini. And Bilic is considering a £25 million bid. What are your thoughts on that, Russ?
Well, I'll have to get me listen to me contacts out in Argentina. I've got a few boys out there.
Okay.
And they mentioned Lanzini when he come.
Yeah.
How good he was. My other guy said Caleri's a pretty good player, and he hasn't really stepped up to the plate yet.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Here's the question, though.
Who did he play for out in Argentina? We don't know.
He plays for Inter Milan.
He plays for Inter Milan.
But where did he come from? Did he come from Boca, River Plate?
I don't know. He's Argentinian international, Sean, isn't he, Icardi?
He is, yeah.
Argentinian international, playing for Inter at the moment. Upset, we heard about this earlier, he's upset the ultras, the hardcore fan base. So based on that, Russ, if you consider all the problems that you've got at West Ham at the moment, do you really want to spend £25 million bringing in a player who is clearly trouble? Do you need that at the moment?
Well,
like,
I think
you haven't got enough.
Well, I mean, Bilic wouldn't bring anybody in if he couldn't come up, get his respect. So I think it'd be running across him. I mean, who would you cross? Bilic? Would that Barnett? I mean, to be honest with you, as Lewis.
Do you know what the worst thing is? I see Bilic. He lives not far from us, walking his dog, and he's got the most unmanly dog you've ever seen. It's a tiny little thing, and you think Slaven Bilic should have a monster beside him because he looks like that sort of a guy, don't he? But he's got a tiny little dog that he walks along the canal, which is.
I mean, like the top of his head is hairier than the top.
It's a good weave, though. No, going back to the question. I mean, if he's an Argentine international and we don't sit up and pay attention like we did with Mascherano and Tevez when they come to Upton Park, like who are these guys? You've got to be pretty good to play in the Argentinian.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, lots of big clubs were looking at him for a lot more money than 25 million in the summer and stuff, and people were talking about Tottenham and Arsenal £40 million and things like that. So it would surprise me if he went to West Ham.
There's a list of there's a list.
It's just I always see when Tevez and Mascherano come. I always see it as a step.
Okay, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's Fan TV live on Sky 212. Sorry, brother. We'll be back after this break. It's uncanny. It's
unbelievable.
You should be on a lookalike stage. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212. We're running out. It's flown tonight. We've got so much to try and cram in. Do we have the results of our third Twitter poll? I can't even remember. But I'll tell you what we have got. We've got our final clue from the celeb washbag. You know I'm a dirty klepto, Russ.
Yep.
I can't help myself. I'm troubled. I've got problems, Sean. I've nicked another washbag. Here's the fourth and final clue of the evening on your screens now. It's a picture of some olives. If you think you know whose washbag I've tea leaf, tweet at FanTVUK. Join in at fantv.me is the email. Russ, very briefly, any idea who you think the washbag belongs to?
No.
You've had ski gloves, you've had some man paste. What was the other one? A Fugazi watch.
No, Coutinho. I said Coutinho, and he said you can't have him because he's Brazilian.
Right, it's not Coutinho.
No,
it's not Coutinho. Mark, Wolverine, any ideas?
Do you know what? It's changed as it's gone through. Does it matter that they're ski gloves or is it just gloves?
It matters that they're ski gloves, and it matters that the watch, the Fugazi
fake. Yeah,
cheap fake watch, is Hugo Boss knockoff. So, if you think you know who the washbag belongs to, Sean, I'm so sorry, I love you, brother. Get in touch. Did we reveal the name of our footballer? I'll have a foul, please. Shall we have another vowel? I'll have a foul, please. We've got no more vowels, so this is it. Let's reveal the name before we forget. The player we were looking for involved in a fouling incident, you'll kick yourselves, was David Lewis. And that's David Lewis, Lewis, of course, who plays for Chelsea, Wolverine.
Really?
Don't cut me.
Yeah, David Luiz, yeah.
Yeah,
good player.
David. No, I think we're friends. David Lewis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, David Lewis.
Yeah. Chelsea fan.
Studs up, of course. Studs up. He should have gone off, shouldn't he? Did you see that?
Yeah. It's a straight red.
It was a straight red. Shocking challenge. Has to be said though, Russ. It didn't really make any difference because United were already 2-0 down at the time.
Could have done. It could have done.
It could have done.
Who knows?
Do you think it's desperate times for Manchester United?
No. I agree with the Man United fan. I think it's just it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
You think that they're title contenders?
No, I think they're being in and around the mix. Yeah, I think.
Mark,
it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go.
I just can't see it, and I think they made Chelsea look a lot better side than they are. I mean, if you look at the new way that everybody's playing Liverpool and Tottenham, and Bournemouth did it to us the weekend brilliantly, where they just pressed us all over the park. I mean, Man United have got, they had Fellaini and Ibrahimovic, both can't run. And the Chelsea centre-backs had so much time to turn and play and do whatever they wanted. I think if they'd have played against a better side, a Liverpool or Tottenham, who were going to press them, Chelsea would have come under a lot of pressure there.
Do you look at the Manchester United side and you look at that game at the weekend, and do you think, why on earth is Fellaini still in this side as a Spurs fan?
Yeah, I do. I often wonder what he does, but like the other guy said, these are top managers. They're not just come into the game. Yeah. Louis van Gaal's won things everywhere he's been. Jose Mourinho is one of the top managers in the world, and they're still playing him. So Moyes brought him to the club, and you think he's one of Moyes' players because he had him at Everton. But these other top managers keep playing him in front of other people. So he must be doing something. I've read a thing. It was funny. We were watching a game on Sunday, and a friend of mine said, apparently Ryan Giggs said that Fellaini is one of those people that you tell him to do something once, and he does exactly that. Where a lot of players, they have to be told things a few times, and Fellaini's one of those, give him a set of instructions, follows them. Which I reply to, what has he told him to do? Nothing. You know, because he's not doing much, is he? But I think he's very coachable.
We've got another Skype caller. Sorry, Mark. It's Lee Adams, friend of the show from Cycle Away Days. Lee, are you there, baby? Our Fulham fan.
I'm here, Justin. How are you, mate? You okay?
You are all the better for speaking to you. Let's see that okay. Let's see the okay sign. It's okay to talk, brother.
It's okay to talk.
Lee, you
my
look
next mission,
freezing.
I've got in contact with you because of my next mission. I'm here today at Cheshire United, who have just beaten Kettering Town 1-0, an absolutely superb goal by the number 9, Brad. I can't remember his name. Okay, so, but on.
Did you say Kettering Town or Kettering Town?
Kettering.
Are you in a K-hole, Lee? He's in a K-hole. Lee's in a K-hole.
That's a broomer. But what I'm going to do is, obviously, because an ex-Fulham player, Barry Hales, plays for Chesham, and is a good friend of mine, I thought, I can't wait around for Brighton away, so I thought I'm going to cycle from Fulham to Peterborough for their FA Cup game, trying to raise as many people and get this message out as much as possible.
It's a wonderful message as well. And just very briefly, Lee, because we are running out of time tonight.
I know.
It's flying, but just tell us what that message is, if you can, in about 30 seconds, and how people can get involved.
It's okay to talk. As a male who tried to commit suicide himself, we all got to stand up for this and just keep talking. I've got an interview coming out with Calm very soon on their website, and you'll see I go into depth into what happened to me and how bad it was. I'm just trying to get as many men to open up and be honest, and it's not about a football club, it's about us being men and all being together and helping each other. If you want to get in contact, Calm Zone, who are probably the greatest charity I've ever experienced in my life. I've currently got a signed, just a few Kettering players walking past. I've got...
a few Kettering players, you say, walking past? A few Kettering players?
Yeah. A few Kettering players.
Hey, there you are, fantastic.
I was going to try and get Barry Hales on, but he's clearly just
Lee,
getting changed.
No worries. It really is a fantastic charity, and you are doing amazing work, and we love you, brother. Just one final thing. You look shrammed. Are you freezing out there tonight?
I had my hood up earlier. I've been absolutely freezing. I don't know if you can see the mist that's descended on the ground. It is just absolutely freezing.
And what was the scoreline there again tonight, Lee, just finally?
Cheshire won 1-0, an absolutely superb goal by the number 9, and hopefully, with a bit of luck, Barry Ells is going to drop me home.
OK, Lee, good luck on the cycle. We love you, brother. Speak soon.
I love you too, mate. Be good. Keep smiling.
It's okay to talk. We'll see you soon, brother. Thank you so much, Lee.
Love you loads. Bye.
Love you, brother. Thank you very much. Time is running out. We've got no winners for the celebrity wash bag. Unbelievable. We've got a winner. Unbelievable. Let's reveal it. Who was the winner for tonight's celebrity wash bag? We'll just have to find that as well. Listen, Mark, I want to ask you, I've been speaking a lot tonight about the balloon door. Loris has made the list. Are you surprised?
No, because I think internationally as well, France got to the final, I think it was, of the Euros.
Yeah.
And we had the best defence in the league last season, and a lot of that was down to Lloris, who's just unbelievable. I mean, I think already this season we've got the best defence in the league, 4 goals in 9 games, and a lot of that has been down to Lloris, who just makes save after save. But he's very, I think where he's quite unassuming and stuff, people don't give him the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
You know, like, because for me, he's arguably, with De Gea, the best in the league and one of the best in Europe. So, yeah, I think he deserves his place on there.
We've got the winner now as well. Let's find out who the winner of tonight's celebrity wash bag that I kleptoed earlier was. And it's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. I love it. The Wolverine there has won it. Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud was the owner of the celebrity wash bag. Congratulations to you. And we've got the winner also of our Football Manager 17 game. The question was, just to recap, we asked you for the year of the first ever Football Manager. It was 2004. Ryan, I think that is. Congratulations to Ryan. We will send you a code so you can get your hands on Football Manager 17. Congratulations, Ryan. Mark, a fan of Football Manager?
I am actually a football manager, and I prefer to play than computer games and stuff like that. So I coach kids. Yeah, I coach kids.
Who do you coach? That's amazing.
They're called Wapping Warriors. We've got 4 sides, under 18s down to under 8s.
I love it.
So so I haven't got the time actually to be playing on the computer. But.
And what division do you play in? What league?
Okay, so they play in the ELE, which is the East London and Essex League.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well. My under 12s are really funny. We got a new kit recently. That my uncle's pub, who Russ visits a lot, sponsored and paid for. And since they've had their new kit, they're unbeaten. And they think it's because of the kit. Nothing to do with their ability or the way that they're playing. But they think, we're unbeaten in this kit. And they feel invincible, which is great. So
will any of the Wapping Warriors be watching Fan TV tonight? Did you let them know?
They should be in bed. Yeah. But hopefully some of them are recorded.
Well, so should Ollie, but he was still on the stage. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's 3 years old.
I've got to say, any Spurs fans in the East End when Spurs are playing, pop down to the Old Star in Wapping.
Yes.
To Paul's pub. It was Ramo Saturday.
Yeah, it's always a good follow.
You got a pub as well?
No, it's my uncle. My uncle owns a pub, and so it's always good in there for the football. And he's a Spurs fan, so.
Okay.
But
Wapping Wanderers. Wapping Wanderers.
Wapping Warriors.
Warriors. I'm so sorry. Even better. Wapping Warriors. If you're watching, hello. And do you call your manager Wolverine? Because if you don't, you should be doing that.
You'll be running further if you do.
Mark, would you like to give the Wolverine a cross hands just to camera one for us? We just do that.
That's a bit too West Ham for me.
Is it's uncanny. Hello, Wapping Warriors, if you're watching. Russ, let's talk about your big game tomorrow. Mark, what's your score prediction for the West Ham game?
I don't think it'll be as easy for Chelsea as everybody thinks. I think, Chelsea, they've won their last 3 games, but they've played against Hull, a really poor Manchester United side. I think West Ham will give them a bit of a game. I think Chelsea will probably win, but it'll be closer than people think. 2-1 maybe, 2-1.
I like the idea of, you've seen the Liverpool, Spurs, you've heard the Arsenal lineup.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea do the same. I know West Ham do the same, because I think it's the youngsters coming through, how else are they going to get to play? Like years ago, in the old First Division, when it comes to the end of the season, the last couple of games, you always saw the guys coming through.
Yeah.
We don't see that anymore. So
I think there's so much money in the game, and it's so important to these managers and their job that they can't afford to to play the kids, can they? I think you'll be surprised because Chelsea are not in Europe and stuff. I think they'll put a strong side out tomorrow because it's a trophy.
Do you not think they'll cancel each other out there because they're both playing the same formation? Both teams will have 3 at the back, I'm sure. Do you think they'll cancel one another out? Can you see a draw?
I think so. Yeah, I could see a draw, but it's also one of those things that if Chelsea match West Ham for intensity in the way they play, they should win because they've got better players.
Where does Antonio fit into the 3-4-2-1 formation?
So they've got the 3 at the back. He plays on the wide right.
With like the wing back.
Yeah, and Fernandes on the left. That's how they lined up against Sunderland.
But that's not his natural position, though, is it, Russ?
He's a winger.
He's a winger, yeah. When he was at Nottingham Forest, he was a winger and a good one. And then he's had to play full-back because of injuries and stuff, hasn't he?
Then he made the boo-boo, and then he stuck him back up front. He played centre forward.
But he still scores most of your goals, doesn't he?
Scored I mean, he's a bit like Carlton Cole to West Ham fans. He's not got the greatest touch. I apologise if you're watching.
Carlton.
But he does, well, Carlton as well. I mean, everyone loved Carlton. But when he pushes the ball, if you go one-on-one, he fronts up at the left-back. He pushes the ball. I think he's the 3rd fastest player in the Premier League.
I think we've only got 30 seconds of the show left, so we can't do a proper Broomer, but just very briefly with 30 seconds left, it is a Broomer. Bilic is said to be eyeing up a move for Millwall right back Marlon Romeo, and is ready to pay 1.5 million to land him. Thoughts on that in 5 seconds?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Keep it. Share the love with Millwall.
Share the love. I'm sharing the love with you, Russell. I love you, Mark. Wolverine, I love you. There, we've got the split screen there. There's the shirt for the Wolverine. I love it. We will be back tomorrow with Toby Tarrant. I'll be back next week. I love you. Good night. It's Fan TV. Love you, Wolverine. Thank you.